Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I am said host, Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of February 26, 2026, including Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are gone, and in their place comes Asha Sharma. With the new CEO and overall leadership shakeup, Xbox is in for even more massive changes. Let's try and dissect what this all means for us, the players, and more. On this day, on this week in Xbox history, I'll never get good at that, huh? In 2009, 17 years ago, Halo Wars was released for the Xbox 360. I remember being in the 7th grade when this game came out, and I remember the day it came out, I was like, I want to get Halo Wars so bad, but I don't have any money. There's no way I can get Halo Wars anytime soon. And my friend Tyler in middle school was like, yeah, my mom bought me Halo Wars last night. I was up so late playing it. I'm really tired. And I was like, fuck you, Tyler. I want to play Halo Wars. And he's like, I got Halo Wars. And I was like, oh, I want to get Halo Wars. And he's like, I got the special edition, the big expensive version. It comes with bonus material. I forget what kind of shit it came with. And he was like, I'm playing it all night. And I was like, fuck you, dude. Yeah, and that's, dude, Halo Wars 1 is so good. Actually, both Halo Wars games are so good, but whew, and Ensembles, Halo Wars, may they rest in peace, of course. What a great game, man. That game shouldn't work. That game shouldn't be good. They really did take like the complex PC style RTS and simplify it in a way where it really worked for controllers. And God, that game it's great on Xbox. It's such a good game, and the sequel's really great as well. Man, remember when things used to be good? Remember when we had Xbox 360? Guys, welcome to the Xbox On podcast, episode 352. 360 Bro YouTube writes in and says, emergency podcast, Jesse, Phil and Sarah are out. Dude, you stressed me out with this comment, man. I was at work and I checked my phone and I see this comment. I'm like, shit. I want to let you know, 360 Bro, you were the first person to notify me that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were out, because I got the notification of this comment and I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And then I immediately opened up Threads, and there you go. Tom Warren and all the people are just like, Phil Spencer's dead to the world, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm at work right now. I don't have time for this. And I seriously did feel the pressure. I was like, I think I need to go home on a Friday night and just go do an emergency podcast. But I decided against it. And not even, just to be real with you, man, there was a huge part of me that wanted to do it, but I was like, no, I'm going to respect my limited free time. I'm going to respect my girlfriend, and I'm not going to spend my Friday night doing an emergency podcast when I just did a fucking podcast a day ago. Xbox On is not a thing I make any fucking money on. It's not a job for me. It's a hobby. So I'm like, the last thing I need to do is like wrap up a long work week with like another 5 hours of writing, recording, and editing a podcast just for my girlfriend to be pissed at me because I spent our Friday night working on an emergency podcast about Phil Spencer. So I almost did it. And honestly, if this was like old school Xbox On, if this was like 2019, 2020 Xbox On, you bet your sweet ass there would have been a bonus episode about this. But I said, calm down. I'm sure everyone can consume a trillion other podcasts, YouTube videos, think pieces, tweets, and everything about what's going on. I don't need to be the first voice. It doesn't matter. It's not like I'm IGN. My livelihood doesn't depend on this. So I all that just to say, man, it has been a little challenging the past week. Kind of just keep my mouth shut because I'm like, fuck, I gotta do this. I gotta talk about this. But I guess the benefit of that is this story has evolved so much over the weekend and on Monday and Tuesday and stuff that here we are Wednesday night. I'm finally recording a podcast about it. We've got quite a bit of information to roll with, and so I think what I'm gonna do, man, I'm just gonna have to kind of go through this chronologically so we can like relive the order of events in which all this happened, the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday, and just kind of recompile everything in order and then just talk about it off the cuff. Because last night I was trying to, put all the quotes together. Oh, here's Phil Spencer's email, and here's the Windows Central interview, and here's, Sarah Bond's LinkedIn post. And I'm just like, I'm trying to put it all together. I'm like, this is a fucking mess. Because honestly, I could have like an hour-long discussion with you guys over any one of these statements, really. Like we could have a 5-hour podcast on this shit. There's just a lot to talk about. So I think what I'm going to do, again, because Listen, man, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I love doing Xbox on podcast. The Xbox on podcast. It is my side passion, hobby project thing, and I'm grateful for all of you who support it and enable it and allow it to be a thing. But I just, oh man, the way my day job has changed my life in the past 6-7 years I've been doing this podcast. It's just I don't have the ability to give. I think this episode the 110% that it deserves. So rather than trying to do some sloppy half-assed, like, let's cover everything and be the most in-depth and thorough podcast, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to generally cover, the quotes and everything. And then we can have a more off the cuff discussion and talk about it in, just however we cover is how we cover it. Rather than taking like copious notes and pouring through all of that with you guys, I just got all the quotes, all the emails, all the statements written down here or copied and pasted here from the various media outlets, and we'll just read through them and then discuss. And if we miss something or we forget to mention that or whatever, so be it. Let's just try to handle this in the most like organized yet informal way we can, because I've been stressing myself out like the past week trying to figure out how to tackle this, because honestly, there's just so much information, so much to say, and yet there's so much we have yet to see and figure out how this is all going to play out. So, all right, so there's that. Guys, let's try to somewhat keep the structure of the podcast intact before we jump into all that Xbox news. Just real quick, there are some pretty notable game releases this week. So, if you are an Xbox gamer, of course you have a Nintendo Switch because everything's a fucking Xbox, I guess. So, you can get Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition on your Switch 2 as of this week. So there's that. Fucking who cares? More importantly, Towerborn, which released last year as a game preview game, is now out officially. It's a full release as of the day this podcast goes live. It's available on Xbox Series consoles, PC, and PlayStation. I don't know what they're charging for this. I think it's $40, but I played like just a little bit of Towerborn in game preview. I need to get back to it because I do want to play this game and I am confident I'll like it, but I just got pulled away from it. But anyway, Towerborn is now gone from game preview to full release, and of course that's in Game Pass. And then the biggest game coming out this week, no doubt, this Friday the 27th, it will be out. Resident Evil Requiem will be out for Xbox Series consoles and PC. So yeah, that's obviously a big one. The reviews are out as of today. It seems like it's getting very favorable reviews. I think its Metacritic scores like a high B or something like that, which is kind of in line with where Resident Evil games typically are, low A, high B kind of thing. So it looks like if you're a Resident Evil fan, spoiler alert, there's another great Resident Evil for you to play. That's kind of timely for me because I am playing a Resident Evil game right now, but we'll get to that in the what I've been playing. But guys, that's kind of it for our notable game releases. With that said, I guess what we'll do is we'll do a whole topic on this Xbox shakeup. Then we'll do the remainder of the news, which is not a whole lot to talk about. Let's be honest. This episode's going to be 95% about this Xbox shakeup. And then we'll round out with the what I've been playing. And then I think, like, honestly, we had a dozen write-ins this week, but all but like 2 of them are about, obviously, this Xbox shakeup. So what I've done is I've kind of sprinkled the comments throughout the various quotes and updates we'll be reading. So we'll kind of weave the quotes or the write-ins with the news today. And then I think at the end of the podcast, we have literally 2 comments. So let's try to keep the format of the show intact as much as possible, but I think that's probably the way we're going to modify it. So without further ado, guys, we're 8 minutes in. Let's just hop into this whole Xbox strategy and leadership huge overhaul and kind of see where it takes us. All right. So we're going to be pulling from a lot of VGC articles, and that's going to be mostly just like the copy and paste of like the emails and the announcements. And then I guess oh man, dude, I completely forgot to put in the Verge's information. Let me actually get that real quick. Okay, so sorry, here we go. So we will be pulling a little bit from The Verge because Tom Warren had this whole report about kind of like how Sarah Bond was viewed internally, and we'll get into that. And then there's the big one is the most recent one. The big one is the Windows Central. Jez Corden had a really good brief but very effective interview with Asha Sharma, the new CEO, and was able to speak with her and ask her some again, brief but very thorough questions, get us a really good couple of quotes to pull from our new CEO and Lord and Savior. But yeah, we got some pure Xbox stuff in here as well. So a lot of sources we're going to be pulling from: VGC, Pure Xbox, The Verge, Windows Central, and yeah, I think that just about covers it. But we'll try to cover it all and not miss anything big. But just again, we got a whole week's basically worth of announcements, fallout, speculation, rumors, just concerns and everything. So we'll try to get it all covered here. So anyway, let's kick off kind of with the initial stuff. So Billy Burgess writes in and says, breaking news, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond have left Xbox. Some lady from Microsoft AI is now in charge of Xbox. OMG, Xbox is dead. Well, Billy, I think this is a good comment to start with, because even though, with all due respect, even though it doesn't really say a whole lot, and here I am on the 25th, recording the podcast, and this tweet this comment has already aged kind of, not poorly, but, it could be argued against pretty easily. I think this is a really good comment because it really encapsulates how we all felt. I think Friday afternoon, anyone who checked their phone and saw this news probably had a very similar sentiment. In fact, I think my brother Cronky wrote in with something similar. He goes, rest in peace, Xbox. Doubt we get a next console now. They're going to shove AI into everything. Why do these people own so many of my favorite fucking developers? Yeah. This is how I felt. This was my concern. I was like, well, fuck Xbox. I'm just done with this bullshit at this point. Goddamn, why does an exile have to be a part of this? So that was kind of my first blush as well. But let's get into it, because I think once you go through like the Friday feelings and the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday feelings, based on all the stories that kind of trickle out and happen, I think you really start to see, at least for me, it's like my perception of the situation and my attitude really changed a lot. Although I think the underlying feeling from the moment this news was announced up until this very moment that has remained consistent is you could best describe me as skeptical of everything that's happening right now. But enough preamble. Let's get into it. Okay, so Xbox is set to undergo huge management changes, with Phil Spencer retiring, quote unquote retiring. Spencer officially stepped down as Microsoft's gaming CEO on Monday, February 23rd, the company announced last Friday. Spencer will be replaced by Asha Sharma, who joined Microsoft in 2024 as president of its core AI product, which she described as leading the product portfolio for AI models, apps, agents, responsible AI, and developer tools for customers worldwide. Xbox president Sarah Bond, who some have assured was being prepared to succeed Phil Spencer as Microsoft's gaming CEO, has instead reportedly resigned from her role. Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty will also be promoted to Chief Content Officer, working alongside Sharma. So that is just like, I think right there, like obviously it's like Phil Spencer, the Mac Daddy of Xbox, is gone. Like, boom, that's a huge shock. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Sarah Bond, the person you thought was going to succeed, was going to replace Phil Spencer, she's gone. It's like, boom, number two, it's like, what the fuck? If the Costco guys are here, they're giving two booms right now. And then finally, it's like Matt Booty, the guy that everyone has been saying that Xbox should fire because this guy can't manage a portfolio or get a game out to save his fucking life. And you're like, oh yeah, what about him? He got fired? No, he's getting promoted. It's like boom number 3, bro. He got 3 booms right there. That's 3 booms from the Costco guys. And so let's continue on. All right. So here's Phil Spencer's email about the news. Phil Spencer writes, last fall, I shared with Satya Nadella that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability, and strengthening the foundation we've built. Xbox has always been more than a business. It's a vibrant community of players, creators, and teams who care deeply about what we build and how we build it. And it deserves a thoughtful, deliberate plan and roadmap ahead. Today marks an exciting new chapter for Microsoft Gaming as Asha Sharma steps into her role of CEO, and I want to be the first to welcome her to this incredible team. Working with her over the past several months has given me a tremendous confidence. She brings genuine curiosity, clarity, and deep commitment to understanding players, creators, and the decisions that shape our future. We know that this is an important moment for our fans, partners, and team, and we're committed to getting it right. I'll remain in an advisory role through the summer to support a smooth handoff. In a separate statement on Twitter, Spencer then writes, quote, "It's rare in life to know that when a chapter is closing, but after 38 years at Microsoft, that moment has arrived for me. I've made the decision to retire and at the beginning of the next begin the next chapter of my life. It's a milestone that's given me a chance to reflect on the incredible journey I've been fortunate enough to share with so many of you. I'm excited for Asha Sharma as she steps into the CEO role. She's joining an incredible group of people, team full of talent, hearts, and deep commitment to the players they serve. Watching her lean in with curiosity and a real desire to strengthen our foundation we built gives me confidence that our Xbox communities will be well supported in the years ahead. Thinking back to my start as an intern in 1988, I never could have imagined the path ahead. I've been so lucky to work with so many passionate creators, partners, colleagues, and players across the industry. People who challenged me, taught me, and made this work full of joy and wonder. Thank you to everyone who's worked to be part of this chapter. The community has meant more to me than I can say. From here, I'll keep doing what always matters to me so much, cheering on the teams, pushing the industry forward, and playing alongside this incredible community. I'll see you online." All right, so there's Phil's quote. There's his email, his tweet, everything, right? Compassionate Choice writes in and says, "Hey, Familia, even our boy Phil Spencer can't be a part of these poor decisions Xbox is making anymore. Pretty sad to see him go." All right, silliness aside, yeah, it again, I think on first blush, that is the hardest part, right? Because I think, man, there's so many ways. Like, I'm telling you, man, we could talk about this shit for hours. Xbox is such a unique brand because it's not that Xbox is unique because no one's ever had this before, but it's unique because Xbox is the last man standing. In the Sega days, throughout Nintendo's history, PlayStation, everyone, there have been key figures at these companies who have been so charismatic, so charming, so representative and identifiable as like the core of a certain brand. Whether these people actually were at the core of these brands and the reason for why people resonated with them so much, that's up for debate. But there have been certain figureheads in gaming that have just kind of been that guy that you glom onto. PlayStation has had like Shuhei Yoshida. And Nintendo's had like Reggie Fils-Aimé and people like that. I just think that, in a world where Nintendo's a well-run company, they just don't have a front-facing, charismatic, lovable, like teddy bear of a person anymore representing Nintendo. PlayStation is very sterile, very corporate. They've gone very Apple. They make very safe, boring decisions, and they don't have anyone fun to represent their brand. And for all of Xbox's many woes and mistakes, and say what you will about Phil Spencer, there's no denying one thing about Phil Spencer is he is like the last of those kinds of guys, really, where it's like he is the face of Xbox. He wasn't the one. He's been at Xbox since the beginning of Xbox, but he wasn't the original like head of Xbox. He started that tenure in 2014 when he replaced Don Matrix. But he's done such a good job of winning over players and being that likable, charismatic, approachable figure, and he's made himself available to the community and just really locked in and been so in tune with his audience that I think, for better and for worse, because definitely there's some parasocial stuff going on here, and there's some toxicity and stuff as well. Phil Spencer has been such a beloved figure of the Xbox community, so to see him go is crazy. Because again, even though he's not the first head, of Xbox, you think about like Peter Moore and Don Matrix and all these other people who have led the brand. He's just the guy from 2014 to 2026 when you look at it as a footnote in the history books. But I think he was such an important part during such a tumultuous era for Xbox that I think fans of the Xbox brand look at Phil Spencer as Dude, that's the guy that pulled us out of the dark ages. That's the guy that got us away from the troubles of the Xbox One. That's the guy who tried to flip the table and introduce Game Pass. That's the guy that tried to bring back backwards compatibility. That's the guy that tried to expand the catalog by buying great teams like Bethesda and In Exile and Obsidian and things like that. And that's the guy that made himself available to the community and was willing to jump on podcasts and speak candidly to fans and such. That's that guy that when you see his face, you think that's Xbox. And even though I would say in a big way, Phil Spencer's brand and reputation has been heavily tarnished over the past 3, 4, 5 years, really throughout most of the Xbox Series generation. I still think at the core, I think the main Xbox fan base really, mistakes and mishaps and all, really has a deep appreciation and respect for Phil Spencer. And I think a lot of it is deserved, and a lot of it is, I think, just parasocial weirdness, because at the end of the day, Phil Spencer he's an executive for a company. He's a suit, Yes, he's a gamer. Yes, he has a lot of gamer score. Yes, he plays video games. Yes, he can hang with the guys and talk games and then, he's one of us. But at the end of the day, he is an executive for a major corporation. In fact, one of the most evil and powerful corporations of all time. Not to say that he's an evil person, but, And at the end of the day, he was a man doing a job, and we know how deeply flawed he was. I mean, he always talking out of both sides of his mouth, always, saying one thing and then 3 months later doing another, right? Remember, this is just a test. Remember, we're just putting 4 games on PlayStation. Xbox is not putting all their games on PlayStation. Don't worry. We're just putting Sea of Thieves and stuff on PlayStation. We're going to see how it goes. Don't freak out. Xbox isn't changing any plan. And then, everything's on PlayStation now. So again, this is a deeply flawed, a deeply complicated person, but I think a figure that people respect deeply. It's like Barack Obama, It's like everyone loves Barack Obama. He's handsome, he's charming, he's charismatic. Sure, he's a war criminal, and he's a corporate Democrat who serves AIPAC and other private interests and things like that. But he's so likable, man. He makes you laugh. He makes you feel good. And in a world where people care way more about vibes than actions, Phil Spencer's a guy you can let him, you can look the other way while he makes a few mistakes because you like the guy so much, just like Obama. So it's kind of like that thing with Phil Spencer, I think, where people just really like the guy, and it sucks to see him go. It's hard to imagine Xbox without Phil Spencer. Now, how do I feel about it? I mean, dude, I'm an Xbox fan just as much as all of you guys. I have the complicated feelings about it too. I've been very critical of Phil Spencer on this podcast many times before. I definitely think the guy has, in some ways, maybe not always intentionally, but kind of fucked us over, lied to us, misled us, said things where he should just kept his fucking mouth shut. Still salty about the whole, I think we should make a handheld, and then we get the fucking ROG Xbox Windows 11 Ally or whatever the goddamn hell that is. But I like Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer was a guy who really helped turn things around for the better in Xbox. If I just think about Phil Spencer from 2014 to 2019, I'm just like, yeah, that's my fucking guy. I love that guy. But you know what? He's going out the same way he kind of led this brand for so many years, which is some fucking milquetoast, overly edited, says a lot but means nothing, PR goop, right? I mean, this email, it's like, I've been thinking about retiring. No, you haven't. You were interviewing with you were on a podcast with Jez Corden last summer where he asked you if you were going to retire soon since you're getting to retirement age, and you said, I don't want to retire anytime soon. Now your email says, last fall, me and Satya Nadella talked about retiring. It's like, really? So between last summer and last fall, between a 3-month span, you basically went from, I'm not retiring anytime soon, to, hey boss, I think I want to retire soon. Like, again, double speak, both sides of your mouth. Typical Phil Spencer, right? Oh, yeah, last time, I mean, it's because I think what happens is Phil says a thing when he's in a moment, when he's talking to Kind of Funny Games, when he's talking to Jez Corden, he says a thing in a moment because he's a person with his own opinions and things like that. And then behind the scenes, the real puppeteer says, no, we're doing this. Amy Hood or Satya Nadella or one of these guys says, this is the plan. And then Phil Spencer gets up in front of the world stage and says something that totally contradicts the thing he was just excitedly saying to his buddies over at Kinda Funny Games. And that's how we get like the two sides, I think, of Phil Spencer. But even though it's been a rough past few years, the Xbox Series generation is falling apart. It will always suck because you can tell that Phil Spencer and his team were driven by this vision of like, let's acquire these teams, let's build out an amazing portfolio of games, let's build a huge subscriber base for Game Pass, and then we'll go, boom, here's Fable, boom, here's Starfield, boom, here's Halo, boom, here's Gears of War, and it's like great game after great game after great game, and it will make people stop and go, Xbox is a serious fucking platform to play some amazing fucking games, and Game Pass is the best value and the best platform in the business. I gotta go get an Xbox. But as they finally were achieving greatness, as Game Pass finally got the momentum and they got all the studios and they finally started getting the cadence, that release schedule that they needed so desperately, it was like, and Big Daddy's pulling the rug from underneath us, and we got to put all of our games on PlayStation. Now, there's no reason to buy an Xbox. Now, Sarah Bond says this is an Xbox, but it's actually a fucking Texas Instrument calculator, and this is happening, that's happening, and it's like, you almost had it, Phil. You almost fucking had it. And so, really, this generation has been marred by this so close kind of sentiment that really burned us all and made us all feel a certain kind of way. But I think despite all that frustration, the fact that the Xbox brand is all but in the shitter right now, it's still kind of hard not to look back and be like, man, I really liked Phil Spencer. Sucks that he's gone, right? And yeah, he's there in an advisory role for a while. He'll be behind the scenes doing some things, but we all know that at least for the past 3 or 4 years, Phil's not really been the one calling the shots. And I don't think that's about to change. I think Phil is here as kind of a guy to bounce ideas off of, where he can say, I wouldn't say that, or, I wouldn't do that because the gamers won't like this, or people won't like that because the new person they have in charge doesn't have experience interacting with the toxic, vitriolic, aggressive, loud video game community. And I think they need someone like a Phil Spencer in an advisory role for a couple months to kind of be whispering in her ear for a while, saying, yeah, that's a good idea, but we can't talk about that way. You gotta do this or that, because if you say this, people are gonna hang you for that. So just, like kind of help show her the ropes until she's good enough to kind of be let off on her own. I think that's kind of what that means, is he's just there to make sure she doesn't put her foot in her mouth any more than Phil Spencer used to do, which is to say a lot. But anyway, so there's Phil Spencer's email, right? And the dude's gone. It's fucking crazy to think about, but here we are. All right, so Papa Phil is out, and now we got a new CEO, a CEO of gaming, the CEO of sex gaming, Asha Sharma. Okay, so here's her email. Here's her announcement. My first job is simple. Understand what makes this work and protect it. Sharma said Xbox has to make 3 commitments in order to ensure future success. The first one begins with great games. Everything begins here, she says. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. Unforgettable characters, stories that make us feel, innovative gameplay, and creative excellence. We will empower our studios, invest in iconic franchises, and back bold new ideas. We will take risks. We will enter new categories and markets where we can add real value grounded in what players care about the most. I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands the craft and the challenge of building great games. He led teams that deliver award-winning work, and he has earned the trust of game developers across the industry. No comment there. The second commitment, according to Sharma, is the return of Xbox, while she also maintained the brand's current policy of multi-format releases. Quote, we will continue to our core Xbox fans and players, those who have invested with us for the past 25 years, and to the developers who build their expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by players across the world. We will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. It connects us to players and fans who invest in Xbox, and to developers who build ambitious experiences for it. Gaming now lives across devices, not within the limits of any single piece of hardware. As we expand across PC, mobile, cloud, Xbox should feel seamless, instant, and worthy of the community we serve. We will break down barriers so developers can build once they reach players everywhere without compromise. Finally, Sharma stated that Xbox will commit to a future of play, specifically noting that Xbox would not focus on soulless AI slop, a notable comment with given her background with Core AI, or her role in Core AI, that she's about to depart from in favor of Xbox. Quote, "We are witnessing the reinvention of play," she wrote. "To meet the moment, we will invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have. Iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love. But we will not treat those worlds as static IP to milk and monetize." Bro, talk about Xbox here. What are you talking about, bro? That is Xbox. Milking Call of Duty and Halo, that's what we fucking do. Anyway, she says, "We will build a shared platform and tools that empower developers and players to create and share their own stories. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art, crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us." In July last year, Microsoft denied claims that Phil Spencer was set to step down, stating that the executive isn't retiring anytime soon. Okay, we just talked about that. If Spencer's latest email is accurate, he's informed Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, blah, blah, blah. Let me erase that, sorry. Again, the organization's going to be a little wacky here. All right, so that's her letter, right? And then VGC kind of wraps up with a little summary about, Phil Spencer's been here since 1988. He started with Xbox in 2001, became the head of Xbox in 2014. That's so funny. In 2014, when he was promoted, he was promoted to the lead Xbox Live and Groove Music, movies and TV in Microsoft Studios. Shout out to all the things Microsoft has killed. It was during that time that Spencer attempted to steady the ship following the disastrous Xbox One launch and the ousting of Don Matrick. In 2022, Spencer would again be promoted with a new position, CEO of Gaming. This came as Microsoft declared its intent to acquire Activision Blizzard, which was basically the thing that destroyed this whole fucking brand, but whatever. No one ever wants to talk about that. All right. So there's Asha's email. I feel like we're missing some of the quote that I wanted in there. I wish I pulled from a different source. But let's talk a little bit about her email, because this is a thing that keeps coming up. Yeah, so she's that kind of person that just works in the corporate world and jumps around from company to company every 3 to 4 years. She's a fucking for hire, like big thinker, like make big, bold moves, do a thing, change a direction in which a company is heading, and then on to the next project. She's not like a lifer or company man who's going to come into the role at a place like Xbox and become emboldened and impassioned to spend her career making Xbox the best it can be and winning. She's the kind of person who's going to, seemingly based on her track record, come to Xbox for 3 to 5 years, make a dent, do something crazy and bold here, and then once Xbox is off in that direction, use that as a way to promote herself into something bigger, either within Microsoft or at another company. So that is, I think, something that is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way and really causing a lot of concern. She sits on the board of directors for Home Depot. Her last job was with Core AI within Microsoft. So she was like the head of all the AI slop shit that everyone is angry with companies like Microsoft for pursuing. And then I think before Microsoft, she was in charge of some big role at Instacart. So, I mean, we're going from taking a guy who's been with Microsoft the entirety of his career, and then who's been with Xbox the entirety of Xbox's existence, and we're trading that guy for some like fucking millennial Ginsler fucking corporate Apple Store beige, gray, drab, like, fucking kill the fun in favor of this. Everything about this person screams like everything that's wrong with business and the world today. You think of like the executive or the leadership equivalent of like taking a fucking Chuck E. Cheese, ripping out the arcade and replacing it with gray walls and fucking cafeteria pizza in order to make it quote unquote modern and to appeal to the modern sensibility and to modern families and the tastes and the interests of your modern consumer. And so there's something about this woman that I think rubs a lot of people the wrong way, because it's like, okay, not only does she have no fucking experience with anything related to video games, and she's clearly not a gamer, but she works for soulless companies like, you know, like fucking like stupid fucking techie, you know, Silicon Valley startups like fucking Instacart and Uber and that kind of dog shit. And then she worked within Microsoft on AI, which is like the bane of everyone's existence. And now they're just going to replace the video game guy with the fucking Instacart girl who sits on the board of directors for Home Depot, the girl who's just here to make money and make bold decisions to do whatever the fuck a company needs to do to make it more profitable, but doesn't necessarily care about the heart and the soul and everything within that company. I think it's easy to read this person this way because, listen, man, I don't know Asha Sharma through a fucking hole in the wall or whatever the expression is. No one listening to this podcast knows who the fuck this woman is. Let's not act like we knew anything about this woman's existence until last Friday. It's pretty safe to assume, based on what little we've been able to uncover and see, no, this girl did not grow up with the fucking Super Nintendo controller in her hands. She did not get awe-inspired when she was a 10-year-old girl playing Halo for the first time. She did not dedicate her life wanting to leave her mark on the video game industry. And that's not a bad thing. And I know there's like that one subsect of people who are like, oh, she's not a gamer, fuck her, she doesn't deserve to be here. Not really. Yeah, you can be a very effective leader and not be a gamer. Case in point, I mean, what's the game everyone's like jizzing their pants over right now? Grand Theft Auto 6? Okay. Well, Grand Theft Auto is a game developed by Rockstar Games, which is published and owned by Take-Two. And Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick is like some fucking like wannabe Jeff Bezos buff dude who fucking never played a video game in his life and drinks expensive whiskey and bangs hookers every fucking weekend. So, you know, that guy sure as hell ain't ever touched a controller, let alone gotten a gamer score. You know, while you were chasing gamer score, he was scoring. He was scoring in the game of life with hot bitches. So like, needless to say, you can be the top dog responsible for something like Grand Theft Auto and not be a video game boy, you know, not be a guy who grew up with Mario tattoos on his butt cheeks and things like that to prove how much of an 80s kid he was, you know? So I don't want to do the low IQ thing where I write off Asha Sharma because, oh, she's a woman. Oh, she's a woman of color. It's woke. Oh, she's not a gamer. Oh, she has this stupid profile on Xbox that's only been around for 1 month and she got all this gamer score. And then you saw that, like, I guess, like there's some profile that was recently made for her and she got a bunch of gamer score in a couple weeks on a random assortment of games. And then she went on Twitter and responded to it. And she's like, that'd be pretty pathetic if someone like juice the numbers so I could have this fake Xbox account. It's like, well, isn't that what that is? Anyway, I don't want to talk about that because I think it's just so myopic and it's just so antithetical to the larger conversation here. The point is, this woman is not a video game person. She clearly wasn't installed because, oh, you're a gamer, you understand gaming. We need someone who can fix Xbox, who really understands gaming on a fundamental level. I think Satya Nadella and Amy Hood and these higher ups at Microsoft understand that you don't necessarily need a gamer girl to come and fix the company. Although we all know as fans, it's preferable to have someone like that in that position. Can you have this work with someone who is a gamer? Yeah. Can you have this work with someone who isn't a gamer? Also, yeah. The CEO, the head of the division, doesn't need to be someone who's like, wait a minute, guys, we should bring back Banjo-Kazooie. That's not what the CEO role requires. You know, that's not what the head of a division needs to be in order for that division to be successful. Now, does that person need to surround themselves with people who do get it, people who are gamers, who do have an ear to the community and understand what people expect and want and how they think and feel about these things? Absolutely. If she's not a good listener, if she doesn't know how to surround herself with the right people, if she doesn't know how to act in the best interest of the community, yeah, she's fucking useless to Xbox. But just because she's not fucking gooning every night to My Hentai Experience on Steam doesn't mean that she doesn't have what it takes to run Xbox. And I just think that's an important thing. Think about how many of us have day jobs for companies we never dreamed about working for. That doesn't mean you suck at your job. It just means that your skills are applicable to a job that isn't necessarily based around performing some kind of task or achieving some kind of goal that is necessarily the thing you dreamed about doing as a kid. You know, no one really dreamed about being a janitor, but you could be really good at fucking cleaning toilets. Doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be a janitor. I don't know. It's just a silly way of saying, like, I don't want to knock it before I try it, kind of thing. I don't think this girl's necessarily bad for the job because of that. It is concerning that she came from AI. It is concerning that she comes from these shitty tech bro startup shit ass companies like Instacart. That is concerning, you know? If she came from like Rite Aid and like fucking Sherwin-Williams paint, I'd be a little less concerned. But like, yeah, it's like, okay, why does it have to be shitty companies? Why does it have to be shitty initiatives in which you come from? So yeah, I think there is good reason to be concerned from that perspective specifically. But again, it's not about, it doesn't mean because she's on the board of directors for Home Depot, she wants to turn everyone's Xbox into a fucking 2x4, you know? It's like, calm down. Just because she has experience with this company or that company or was put in a role to do a thing, it doesn't mean that her passion is AI. It means that her skill set and what she is capable of doing, someone saw value in that kind of leadership and vision for that specific industry. So you could say that maybe Asha Sharma is someone who's really good at taking things that look fucking broken, finding out what makes it tick, stripping out the waste, and then getting back to basics to course correct something that's failing. And if she's someone who's good at doing something like that, she would be a great candidate for Xbox, because Xbox is a brand that is currently failing so goddamn hard. Xbox is a brand that is nosediving straight down to the fucking ground. Xbox is a fucking kamikaze plane headed for Hiroshima, about to trigger so much goddamn trauma that this thing explodes like a nuclear bomb. It ain't even funny, right? But if she's someone who can surround herself with good people who do know games and who do know the industry and who do know the community and have an eye and a taste for curating a great catalog of games and presenting a good vision and direction for the company, then she could be the person to execute on that vision while surrounding herself with the right people to help her stay on track and do the right thing. And Xbox could be great under her leadership. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I don't want to knock it until we try it. My bigger concern is less that she's not qualified for the job based on the company she's worked for before. My concern with her has a lot more to do with Xbox has been in such a shitty place for so goddamn long. It's been failing so hard for so long. And people have been screaming from the rooftops for years. Fire Matt Booty. Fire Matt Booty. Fire Matt Booty. Replace Phil Spencer. Fire Matt Booty. Replace Sarah Bond. Fire Matt Booty. Promote Sarah Bond. Get rid of Phil Spencer. Fire Matt Booty. Get rid of Phil Spencer. This is like the fucking discourse surrounding Xbox for like the past 4 years of my goddamn life. And the fact that like Microsoft just kind of stood idly by and let Sarah Bond and Matt Booty and Phil Spencer take the fall and keep fucking up and keep being the face of this failing brand for years and years and years without doing anything, it kind of makes me concerned. It's like, why now? Why after 16 goddamn quarterly earnings calls where you have to talk about how the Xbox hardware is down 27% over last month? How come it took so many goddamn quarterly earnings calls of everything sucks for you to finally say, yeah, something's not working here. We need to change course. You know? The only thing I can think of is last fall, Outer Worlds 2 didn't hit. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was the first Call of Duty pretty much ever to like have alarmingly bad numbers. Game Pass revenue was down. Games and services money revenue was down. Even when hardware is down, at least gaming revenue and services is usually up at least a percentage point or two, but that number was down. A quarter that should have been their best quarter yet sucked because Ninja Gaiden and Outer Worlds 2 and most importantly Black Ops 7 didn't do it for them. And you can't buy an Xbox at Costco anymore. And an Xbox Series X costs $800. And nobody gives a shit about the stupid fucking Ally X Windows 11 edition, okay? Nobody cares. And I think that might have been finally, I don't know why it took that to happen, but that might finally be the wake-up call that made someone higher up at Microsoft go, okay, this isn't funny anymore. We got to do something. And so that's when you go to the guy who just told Jez Corn, I'm not retiring anytime soon. And you go, all right, you're retiring, quote unquote, retiring, stepping down. And we're going to have PR put together a nice email to make it look like you've been contemplating doing this for a while. Okay. And Sarah Bond, you're a little number 2, you're second in command. She's out too. Fuck it. You guys are gone. That, I think, is probably what happened. But man, what a fucking... Too little, too late. What are you going to do? And here's the thing I don't get is in Sharma's email, she talks about, this is what just drives me nuts, man. She talks about like getting back to the basics, getting back to the core of Xbox. She keeps mentioning the console. She mentions like speaking to the core of Xbox fans and then growing the audience with them at the center of it. Like, which is, listen, like, that's music to my ears, right? Because that's what we've all been bitching about. It's like the 30, 40 million people that still play Xbox and buy Xbox consoles. We've been bitching and moaning because it's like, dude, I know PlayStation's bigger than us, but we fucking been here. We bought Quantum Break. We played Halo 5. We're buying your fucking games. We're subscribing to Game Pass. We're buying your fucking controllers every 3 months when there's a new color out. Why are you taking it out on us? Why are you putting all these games on PlayStation? Why are you trying to get us to buy Texas Instrument calculators and Vizio TVs to play Xbox when we're the fucking ones making this happen for you guys? We're the ones keeping this brand afloat for you guys. And you keep fucking backstabbing us at every goddamn turn to try and expand the Xbox market. But then Asha, what the fuck is wrong with me? And then Asha comes along and she's like, well, we want to grow Xbox, but we want to do it by catering to our core fans and then expanding based on what you guys like and love about the brand and what you guys want from the brand. And we want to be console focused. We know it starts with the Xbox console. And it's like, whoa, why are you saying these things in a time where the biggest news for Xbox this year is that Fable's on PlayStation, Forza's on PlayStation, Xbox hardware sales are so down that it's fucking pathetic that like your grandma could go buy an Xbox Series S and hardware revenue would be up 120% because it's been so long since they sold a fucking console. Like, why are you talking about these things? Why are you giving us hope now? Because how do you right the ship at this point? I just don't get it. And then you start to see all this like hopium around the internet where people are like, okay, that's it. All right, maybe New Girl is going to do the right thing. Maybe New Girl is going to, maybe she's going to bring back console exclusives because she's talking to people, and like there's that Herd tweet where this guy was like, oh, Asha, this is what we want. We want exclusive games. We want to focus on the console. Get rid of Game Pass. Do this, do that. And then she just responded to this random fucking dude on Twitter and just says, Heard, like, I'm listening, I hear you, I see what you want. And it's like, and to a lot of people, they're like, oh my god, is she listening, does she care? And people start to get excited and they run away. And listen, man, I don't blame you. There's a part of me that wants to get excited too, but don't get excited. You gotta stay realistic about it. It's not because good things can't happen, but it's just because how do you salvage Xbox in a world where, let me say it this way, build an argument for me where Xbox goes, you know what? Cancel it. We're not putting our games on PlayStation. Halo campaign evolved PlayStation. Cancel it. Forza Horizon 6 on PlayStation. Cancel it. Fable on PlayStation. Cancel it. Starfield on PlayStation. Maybe cancel it. It's very close to releasing. Maybe that one slips through. I don't know, but try to cancel it. The Xbox TV bullshit, get rid of it. xCloud, it's still there as a supplemental option, but let's focus on the Series X and the Series S. All right, Series X, let's eat shit on the console. Let's lower the price back down so people are incentivized to buy it. What do we got to do to get Costco to carry this thing in stock again? Okay, go have that meeting with the Costco hot dog guy and make him do it. Maybe go get the Costco bros to give 5 booms to get the Xbox back on store shelves. Like, do what you have to do. Let's do it again. Get rid of Game Pass. Fuck it. Maybe have some legacy Game Pass that just has like older games in the catalog, but focus on every game we release is a console exclusive. You could only buy it on Xbox or PC. Cost $70. Fuck you, PlayStation. Come over here if you want to play Fable. It's like, listen, if Xbox came out and did that right now, I would just ejaculate all over the goddamn planet. You would think, oh my god, is it blizzarding up north again? And I'd say no, that's just Xbox fanboys having the time of their lives. Listen, it would be incredible. I'm not gonna lie to you. We all want it, right? Get rid of Game Pass. Stop putting your games on PlayStation. Go back to console exclusives. Make the Xbox console your core focus. then you have all the games they have coming, all the teams. You got Obsidian and fucking Activision and all these. Oh my God. I mean, obviously Call of Duty is still multi-platform, whatever, but like, holy shit, man. Can you imagine how like goated that would be for all of us who've been OG Xbox fans since 2001 or whatever, to just see that happen? Like, oh my God, they listened. Oh my God, they did the thing. It'd be so awesome. But as exciting as that fantasy is, it doesn't make sense. It's not plausible. You can't make that happen. How do you go to an Amy Hood or Satya Nadella and say, yeah, the way to fix Xbox is to, all that money we've been making by putting our games on PlayStation, selling millions and millions of copies? Yeah, stop doing that. I know hardware sales are in the trash. I know, gaming revenue and services is down, but stop doing all that. Game Pass, that thing that's like not profitable, but it pulls in a lot of revenue, and it's the only thing that gives like our community any kind of buzz and any kind of unique feature. Let's get rid of that. Let's just cut it. We're done. Okay. What else? It's like, how do you do that? How do you justify that? And then Satya Nadella is supposed to say to investors in the next earnings call, oh, we're really excited about this new CEO of Xbox. She just got rid of Game Pass. She just canceled all of our games on PlayStation. So you're about to see Xbox revenue decrease by about 97%. But the good news is that we did get Xbox back in stock at Costco, and we're eating shit on the hardware costs. So even though it costs us about $714 to manufacture and ship one of these units, we're selling it for $500. So we're eating that at a loss. But we're really excited because Asha's got like, Titty Gamer 69 on fucking Twitter, over the moon about the decisions that she's made. She listened to the community. They're happy. It's like, unfortunately, this is a long way of saying the genie is out of the bottle. It's never going back in. It's not going to happen. I love Xbox. I want nothing more than to just close my eyes, open back up, and realize it was all a bad dream, and to see that we got Halo 7, and it explains what the fuck happened after Halo 5, because God knows we deserve an answer. And it's an Xbox exclusive, and people love it, and it's made by a company called 343, not Halo Studios, you fucking cowards. And it's awesome. And Game Pass is like some subscription that you can have for like $8 a month, and it just has like Xbox games that are like 3 years or older on it. It's like a subscription service for all old Xbox games. But if you want to play the latest and greatest Xbox games, you got to put your $70 fucking where your mouth is. And Xbox Live is back, and we call it Xbox Live because we're not afraid to be men anymore. And listen, I'd love it. I'd be so fucking happy, man. I'd be so happy. But it's not realistic, and it's not plausible, and you cannot financially justify doing so. I know Microsoft has the money. That's not how business works. It doesn't matter if you have the money or you don't have the money. You cannot be a publicly traded company, especially the size of Microsoft, and justify a financially reckless decision like that. Even though it's the right move for us longtime Xbox fans, it is the wrong move for investors and for the company in terms of its financial portfolio, and therefore it cannot and will not happen. Don't get too excited by what Asha says. I know she's listening or whatever. It's because they don't have a plan yet. They're saying all these things. There's all these little quips and quotes coming out. They're saying, oh, we want to deliver. We care about the players. We want to figure out what's wrong. We want to fix what's broken. We want to listen to you, the community. You know why they're saying that shit? Because one, they need to build goodwill because they know it's an uphill battle, getting rid of the guy everyone liked and replacing it with someone nobody knows or has any reason to like. And two, because they don't have a fucking game plan yet. There is no business strategy for Xbox right now. They just got rid of, and we're skipping over it, but we're going to get back to it, Sarah Bond, the person who's reportedly the mastermind behind the This is an Xbox Play Anywhere initiative. The person behind all that is out the door now. So there is no initiative at Xbox. The initiative is don't fucking die, Xbox returning to its roots, like paying homage to its past, I guess would be like if the company tried to do what you do at the end of Halo Reach, which is just fucking hold on to your Magnum pistol and try not to die, as the planet gets glassed by the Covenant. So I just I know it's exciting in some ways. There's a way in which you can read the stuff that's been in the news the past few days, and I don't want to be the guy to rain on your parade and just into be the bearer of bad news, but I just think it's very smart to not get excited about anything right now. And I don't mean to say that you should be a doomer about everything, because that's not necessarily the case. I think there's plenty of good things that could be happening. I am very curious to see what happens. If anything, the past couple of days have put us in a situation where Xbox is a very interesting brand to pay attention to right now, because while I don't think a whole lot of good things are going to be coming out anytime soon, I do think a lot of interesting things to talk about will be happening. So if anything, this podcast will remain quite interesting for a while, because we're going to be getting a lot of left turns. But all right, let's continue onward. So Objects in Space writes in, he says, "Bye, Phil. He'll be missed, but he hasn't been involved in the brand in the last few years. My guess is that's by design from the Microsoft head honchos. I'll not be bothered about Sarah Bond. She was just another suit. Despite the doom of the internet, I'm willing to give the new CEO a fair shot. New leadership could be a good thing." Yeah, amen, brother. I think you get it, man. We'll talk about Sarah Bond right now. Let's transition into that, because I feel bad about leaving her out. I didn't mean for that to be the way this conversation started, but let's get into that, because Sarah Bond really does seem like, at least like intentionally so, she's been kind of the face of Xbox the past 3 years or so, and I do think there's a lot of credibility to that assertion or speculation that she was being kind of prepared and prepped and readied to be the successor to Phil Spencer. So this is a huge surprise and shock that this is what that this is where things are headed. So all right, let me take a sip of water and we'll hop in. All right, so Sarah Bond is conspicuously absent from everything, right? So all this news breaks on Friday. We know Sarah Bond is out, but Sarah Bond hasn't said anything. And the weird thing is, like, her Twitter and stuff has been like, you know, I'm sure most of these corporate people, they got like these scheduled tweets and stuff that go out this day at this time. You know, they're not tweeting in the moment, but she's got like tweets going about Xbox, and she's like, everything's business as usual. And we're not hearing a peep from her about any of this news for 48 hours. But then on Sunday, she updates her LinkedIn, and then we get our update from her. So she writes on LinkedIn saying basically the time is ready for her to move on. So here's what she writes. "I know there's a lot of news to take in today. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built together over the past 8+ years. PC and cloud gaming are growing faster than ever. Our next console is very well underway, and together we've helped lay the foundation for a more open gaming platform that spans devices and reaches players around the world. When we announced our intentions to acquire Activision Blizzard in 2022, I committed to helping lead Xbox through what would be a critical period of change. Over the past 4 years, we've navigated that moment together and positioned the business for what's next to come. We took on some of the biggest challenges this organization's ever faced and did it as a team. With that, I've decided this is the right time for me to take my next step, both personally and professionally. We're living through a transformative technological era that will shape the next generation of our industry, and I am energized by what's ahead." Bond said that she feels like there's a unique opportunity for fresh eyes and new leadership at Xbox to, quote, guide the team to its next chapter, and confirm that she'll maintain some contact with Microsoft as a special advisor. So similar to Phil, it seems like. Quote, "I've had the privilege of spending some time with Asha over the last few weeks as we've planned for this transition, and I've seen firsthand her deep commitment to our players, developers, and brand. She brings deep technology and commerce experience, along with a strong track record of building and scaling platforms that the world uses. Xbox deserves this. I'm excited to see her lead the next chapter for our team. I'll remain on as a special advisor for Asha to help her ensure a smooth transition as we set the organization up for continued success." Bond thanked Spencer for his mentorship and friendship. Quote, "He's been a consistent champion of the business and the people who make it what it is, and I've learned a great deal from the way he leads through both opportunity and challenge. I'm grateful for his trust and support throughout my time with the team. I also want to thank Satya for his sponsorship and support throughout my time at Microsoft." So that's interesting. Throughout my time at Microsoft kind of suggests she's not only leaving Xbox, but she's just leaving the company. Remember, Sarah Bond is young. She's not a Phil Spencer. She can't just say, "Oh, I'm retiring." Like, no, she's out. She sits on the board for some other companies and does shit, but like, yeah, she's out. So that's like a little bit of a red flag. People in her age and at her place and time, in their career don't usually just leave the company they're working for and not have another thing like announced or lined up. So like, yeah, something's going on there. Something's amiss. Joe's Space writes in and says, "I think Phil Spencer was forced into retirement and Sarah Bond left in protest. Politely, GQ Joe's, I think I disagree. I do think Phil Spencer was likely forced into retirement or pushed out. But I also think Sarah Bond was kind of pushed out with him. That's my read on it. I don't think Sarah Bond is like some altruistic, a Samaritan who's like, oh, if Phil's gone, I'm gone too. I'm going with him. I don't know if that's how you mean it, but I just don't believe that to be the case. I'm sure she would have gladly taken his fucking role if he was pushed out. I think that Microsoft wanted her out too. I think they're saying this isn't working, and they identified Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond as a pair to be the reason for or the need for change. And so they said, both you guys are out. Here's the person who's replacing you. That is kind of how I read it, but who's to say I'm right and you're wrong, or vice versa? We don't really know yet. All right. On the Sarah Bond thing, let's talk about, and this is the part I'm not prepared for because I fucking failed to move over some of this information, but Tom Warren, who works for The Verge, had this big expose. It was either Sunday or Monday, and I can't access it because the Verge is fucking blocked. You got to have a subscription to read it. But various sources covered it, obviously. Here's some information from Tweaktown I just pulled up. So basically here, what they say. New reports from behind the scenes say that Sarah Bond is leaving the company, and that has actually reassured Xbox employees. Sources tell Tom Warren's The Verge about the situation that led to the change in ranks and how it affected people at work. It's been revealed that Sarah Bond may have been in charge of a rather disliked. This is an Xbox marketing campaign, which led to pushback internally from developers and Xbox employees. The report goes on to say that Bond was not easy to work with or work for, and that employees were quick to be ousted if they didn't fit the vision that Microsoft had prescribed to for Xbox, a vision that had been reinforced by her own planning and decision-making. Microsoft's current business model has significantly jeopardized adoption of its Xbox Series console by breaking exclusivity for good and all, leaving the system with no differentiations outside of Game Pass, which is only offered on Xbox consoles. With Xbox now focusing on converting buyers into digital subscriptions and cross-platform releases, Xbox Series console sales have slowed, leading to a 12-year low holiday console spending. Xbox's new CEO, Asha Sharma, says Microsoft is focused on long-term vision for the Xbox brand. Sharma promises to return in revivification of consoles while also reinforcing the group's existing business strategies, including the release on PS5 and Switch with more subscription content. So anyway, all right, that's the write-up from Tweaktown of the article from Tom Warren over at The Verge. So yeah, the reporting says basically like, yo, people don't like Sarah Bond. People hated working for her. She was difficult to work for. And she was kind of the mastermind behind the This is an Xbox campaign and a lot of the push for Play Anywhere and a lot of the push for preserving the backwards compatibility, which is a good thing. So I don't understand why people are complaining about that. But basically the idea that this whole like Xbox is becoming this platform that's on your PC, it's on your console, it's everywhere and anywhere you go. This is Xbox. Everything is an Xbox. And that was kind of her push. And that now the plan is going to be to try and to salvage the Xbox console. But here's the fucking thing, man. It's so weird because Xbox keeps saying, oh, we're still doing a next-gen console, and Sarah Bond was the person in charge of next-gen hardware. Remember, that was one of her titles, one of her tasks, and she was like, oh, yeah, we're working on a new console for 2027. How is it that Xbox put Asha in charge to fix the problem where no one wants to buy an Xbox console because there's nothing that differentiates it from a PlayStation, if Asha's job is also to reinforce and continue to support Xbox's current strategy of putting all their fucking games on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch? This doesn't make sense. These two things cannot be true at the same time. This is an incongruent statement. It doesn't hold water. There's no logic to this. This is the thing that gets me. This is why I'm like, among many other things, I'm like, listen, man, it's easy to get excited. She's saying a lot of the right things. You know, she's being very political. I am pro good things. I'm anti bad things. You know, it's so easy to like someone when they first get up on stage and tell you all the things you want to hear. But this is the thing. You cannot revive Xbox as it was. You cannot speak to the core of Xbox fandom. You cannot revive the hardware if what you're going to do is put your fucking games on PlayStation. It cannot happen. It will not happen. I don't care if I am speaking out of turn and I look like a jackass in 2 years when you point back to this podcast and go, remember when Jesse said this couldn't happen, but now Xbox Series 9 is the best-selling console of all time and all their games are available on PlayStation 7, and I'll be like, I'm so stupid. I was so wrong. I feel absurdly confident saying you can't put your fucking games on the competitor's platform and then also have a thriving console business. It's not going to happen. Shut the fuck up. It's over. So I know that's like kind of the task that Asha's been assigned, but I have zero faith that it's going to happen. So so it's like, and we'll get into this with the Windows Central report, but it's like, it's clear that there is no plan in place yet. I think Matt Booty and Asha Sharma have to start doing the legwork and figuring out what this new vision is for Xbox. And they had to get to work on marketing it, because another problem they have, even if they do want to course correct and kind of go back to the way things were, which you can't fucking do successfully. You can do it. It just won't work. Even if that's the course they take, the other problem they run into is they have muddied the conversation surrounding Xbox so goddamn much that even if you try to walk it back and do the right thing and go back to the way things were, the market is never going to forgive you. They're never going to understand. They're never also going to understand fully what's going on, because it's so goddamn confusing when Xbox is like, oh, you can only play our games here. Now you gotta get Game Pass. Just kidding, it's on PlayStation. Just kidding, this one's on PlayStation, but this one's not. Just kidding, this one's on Nintendo Switch. Hey, we're bringing Call of Duty to Nintendo Switch. Just kidding, no, we're actually not. Oh, by the way, this is on Xbox, and the reason you should buy an Xbox console instead of PlayStation is this, this, and this. And then they go, just kidding, we're going back to the way it was 15 years ago. It's like, no, because now everyone's confused because the bad will is already out there. It's kind of like how, remember like the first year or two of the Xbox Series X when everything was like fucking Gucci, and it was like, it was the most powerful console and it was super badass. And if you wanted a more affordable entryway, you had the Series S, which was an awesome console. And Halo Infinite came out and everyone was like, oh, this is kind of fucking sick. And Forza Horizon 5 came out and everyone's like, this game's kind of fucking sick. And it was like, oh my God, is Xbox back? And then, it was all excited and everything. And that didn't move the fucking needle. And we got Starfield a little bit later and everything. That didn't move the needle. You know why? It's because Xbox can't recover from the bullshit that happened in 2013. What makes you think they're going to recover from this? What makes you think that Xbox is just going to walk it back and your coworker who knows a little bit here or there about video games but doesn't really care is going to suddenly drop the whole making fun of this is an Xbox ad campaign, the fact that they're playing Halo and Gears of War on their PlayStation 5. They're not going to forget that. They're going to hold it over your head. They're going to hate you. The internet is going to look for every reason to continue to make you look weak and pathetic. It's over because you already did the thing. You passed the point of no return. I don't understand how you're going to fix it. But sure, so, placate everyone. Continue to double down on putting your games on PlayStation, Switch, while also recommitting to the console, and see how that fucking goes for you. I know you guys are so adamant that you're making a next-gen hybrid console. Is that still the plan, or will that be something that gets revived and then we just do a more traditional next-gen console? How the fuck do you go back to the way things were and justify making a traditional next-generation console that's not a Steam box, but rather just a regular old Xbox, when the fucking Xbox you have right now can't sell more than 5 goddamn units in a year? It's like, it doesn't add up, man. It doesn't make sense. And that's unfortunately, I just think where we're stuck at. So Sarah Bond, apparently the mastermind behind This Is an Xbox campaign, the one who's pushing the multi-platform initiative, which I bet she was a proponent of it and that she championed it, but I doubt it was her idea. I think the whole put all your games on every platform is something that came from higher up. I think that's like Amy Hood crunching the numbers saying, y'all better make some goddamn money right now. I think that's where that comes from. But anyway, if this is all true, that people didn't like working for her and that she was hard to work with and that she was the mastermind behind This Is an Xbox and all that crap, then yeah, good fucking riddance. The thing about Sarah Bond is it's like, I never disliked her. She's fine, whatever. She's a person doing a job. I can respect it. But she always kind of read to me as like just kind of like a corporate suit. And I remember I would talk about that a lot on this podcast earlier on in her days at Xbox. But I was always surprised because Xbox fans were always like, "Woo, Sarah Bond!" I was like, "Okay, yeah, I guess we like her." I don't know. She shows up at these Xbox events and just kind of like stands like a fucking robot staring at a teleprompter reading. But sure, go Sarah, go Xbox, whatever. I don't know, man. I don't wish this woman any ill will or anything bad. It's just whatever. She's a person who did a job and is now removed from that job. I hope she finds her happiness and success in life. She's removed from Xbox. It's probably for the better. I never got the best feeling about her, but anyway, who really gives a shit? You know, whatever. I just don't have that much to say about Sarah Bond other than it is interesting how disliked she apparently is. All right, so let's move on. Right. I think there's two more things I want to talk about. This next one is like this big ass non sequitur technically, but it's from a mouth that we really want to listen to because he's the father of Xbox. And then we get into this big Windows Central interview that I think is going to be the most important thing to read here. So let's start off with the Seamus Blackley stuff. So all right, Monday rolls around, right? And Seamus Blackley writes in. This is the guy who basically created the original Xbox. He left Microsoft in 2002, shortly after the launch of the console. So, dude's not really been with Xbox for a hell of a long time, but he's a very important figure who very much matters in this conversation because, I mean, listen, if you invented sex, wouldn't you want to know who all's having it? I guess, right? I don't know. Anyway, so Seamus Blackley said that he believes that Asha Sharma's appointment over those with background in video games indicates that Microsoft's gaming future will be dominated by generative AI. He also praises the outgoing boss, Phil Spencer, who he said he likely had been worn out spending a long time managing the best he could and continuing to try to do the right thing for games. I definitely get the feeling and have gotten the feeling for a long time that Phil Spencer is absolutely worn out, that he is a guy who had a plan, who had a vision, who tried a thing, and it was fucking hard, and he fought tooth and nail and lost. At the end of the day, ultimately really lost and got his vision ripped away from him. And I think a lot of the last few years, not seeing him as much, seeing a lot more Sarah Bond, was a little bit of like yeah, you're going to replace me one day, so let's just start putting you at the forefront. But I think it was also just a little bit of like a Phil Spencer going like, I'm fucking tired, I give up. You know, I'm no longer pulling the strings here, I'm just whatever. All right, so Seamus says the following. Satya Nadella has made an incredible number of bets and invested an incredible amount of money and credibility into the transform model AI future. Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't the core AI business, is being sunsetted. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be to palliative care as a, sorry, am I saying that right? Be as a palliative care doctor? What am I missing? I want to make sure I know things. What is this? I don't need to translate. I need to find, you fucking asshole. Palliative care is a specialized medical care focusing on improving quality of life for individuals with serious illness. All right. So Blackley said, Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't the core of AI business, is being sunsetted. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. So her job is basically to kindly kill Xbox. It just seems really true, he continued. I imagine asking somebody if it made sense to put a major motion picture studio into the hands of somebody who didn't like movies, or a major record label into the hands of someone who've never seen a live show. Why would you do that? Well, you only do that if you're looking at the problem in more of an abstract way. The natural consequence of focus on AI is that AI abstracts every problem from the mind of the executives who believe in it. We're abstracting the problem of games as well. There's a core belief, and you can see it in the way Satya said, that AI will subsume games like it will subsume everything. The Xbox co-founder said that he believes that whether or not you agree with the generative AI, Microsoft is ushering all of its business units towards it, including gaming. And this is a huge fucking thing you have to acknowledge, because Satya Nadella, he was fucking saying this. He was the guy who's all over the news like a month ago saying like, I encourage you to stop calling it AI slop. Think of it as like a neural transmission actuation device or whatever. You know, it's like some fucking corporate PR slop speak. And then Asha literally comes in and uses the term AI slop after her granddaddy boss Satya Nadella is like, stop calling AI slop. And listen, it's like, why did you put the AI girl in charge of Xbox if you don't want to kill Xbox with AI? But she's out here saying, oh, we're not going to do AI. Oh, we believe in the creativity and the artistry that goes into game making. But also it's like you put the fucking AI person in charge of Xbox. What do you mean? And also Microsoft has been saying how they're going to put AI into every fucking thing they do, and how AI is the future of Microsoft. So it's like, how can you say that? And then months later, you appoint someone to the Xbox division who's all like, yeah, even though I come from AI, like I'm totally not going to do AI all over Xbox. I'm not going to like get my AI all up in its grill. Like, it's like, of course you are. Don't fucking lie to me. Of course that's what you're here to do. You're just not saying that now because right now your objective is to get me to like you and trust you. Then your job is to fucking kill Xbox. So it's like you can read this and be like, oh shit. Seamus Blackley he's fucking warning us about the future of Xbox. Anyway, he says, the Xbox co-founder said that he believes whether or not you agree with it, generative AI, Microsoft's ushering of it all in its business units, or is ushering it into all of its business units, including gaming. This is in no way surprising, he said. It would have been shocking if they had somebody in there in a meaningful role who was passionate about games, passionate about the creator-driven business of games, because it would be in direct conflict with everything else Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is a company that is now about enabling its customers by enabling AI to drive things. That's at odds with the auteur model of an art, but specifically of games. Microsoft doesn't have a problem that Apple does, or that Netflix does, where they have an auteur-driven content model to manage. Games are the only place between where they have a content business. I think this is so fucking important to highlight and underline this passage here, this quote. It's so fucking important because it's like, listen, man, I'm not saying that, oh yeah, I believe everything this guy's saying. He's right, he's wrong, he has the correct interpretation, because Seamus Blackley doesn't really know what's going on here. He doesn't work there. He's not in the know. But this stands to reason. If you're Satya Nadella and you want to put your AI slop in everything you're doing because it's what's driving the stock price up and it's what shareholders want to hear, but you have this one fucking thorn in your ass and it's Phil Spencer, and from the sideline he's going, no, it's about the gamer, it's about new games, it's about we gotta buy Activision so we can get Call of Duty money and boost Game Pass. Oh, we gotta get Call of Duty on Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, we got to make Master Chief have smaller boobs to make it DEI. Like, if you have that guy in the corner just fucking screaming about video games and creators and players and art and all these things, eventually you're going to be like, that Phil Spencer guy's a real fucking thorn in my asshole, because I don't need that right now. I need AI to tell you how to make the picture of the little child naked, because that's what Donald Trump wants. So that's what we got to do right now, because that's my job, is to make the stock price go up. I don't give a shit about the quality of anyone's life. I just want the stock price to go up. So it kind of fucking stands to reason. It's like, let's get rid of that creative guy that's giving us trouble, that keeps trying to make us do things in favor of the video game model, and let's put the AI girl in charge here, who's gonna fucking, be like, oh yeah, I'm here to make Xbox better. And then she takes the fucking chloroform rag and puts it over the mouth of Xbox and passes it out and then fucking euthanizes it or some shit like that. Like, I mean, it's weird that we're just supposed to be like, oh, they got rid of the guy that loves video games to get the AI girl in, and she's going to fix Xbox. She's going to take the games off of PlayStation and make them exclusive again and get rid of Game Pass. And we're going to go back to the old way of how it was. PS3 versus Xbox 360. Let's go. Don't you feel like the meme, the meme of like it's like the man, he's like, where it's like, where the format will be like, I am blah, blah, blah. And then he like puts on a wig and he's like, who, blah, blah, blah. And he's put on clown makeup. He's like, and I think blah, 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 blah. And then he puts on like the clown nose. And it's like, as he's like buying into this dogmatic or this belief system, you realize he's a fucking clown. Like, that's how I feel as an Xbox fan. If I'm going to be like, I am an Xbox fan who believes that AI is detrimental to the creative pursuit of video games and art, and I think that Asha Sharma is here to make Xbox great again and to make exclusive games for this platform, to reinvigorate the console sales. And I think this is the future for Xbox. Like, that's just the meme of like you putting on the makeup and the wig, because now you're the fucking clown. thinking that getting rid of Phil Spencer in favor of this girl is how we fix the problem. It's how we get away from AI. It's how we get Xbox back on track. I don't know. Clearly, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond weren't getting the job done. But there's a lot to be said about who was really running the show the past few years. So I don't totally blame them, although I do blame them for a lot of things. But it's kind of hard to believe this girl when, she's saying the things we want to hear, but like, I don't know, man. This feels like some snake oil shit right here, you know? Anyway, let's continue on. Seamus Blackley, however, dismisses the comments that what every single person who's been brought into games from other industries has said when they're hired. In every press release, probably going back longer than you think I have been in this business. Let me reread that because I read it like a fucking idiot. He dismisses the comments as dismisses the comments like what Asha's saying every single person who's been brought into games from outside the industry has said when they're hired in every press release, probably going back longer than you and I have been in this business, saying, yeah, they're going to come in, they're going to say, we're here to do the good things and get rid of the bad things. We want to make the problems go away and make the money come in and make the fans happy. That's what she says, because that's her fucking job. It's to make you believe in Xbox again. He also shared some advice that the new Xbox boss urging the exec to leave this job soon if she can't develop a passion for games, and urging her to speak to former game leaders and advice. So he basically says to Asha, you should develop a passion for gaming. If you want to look at people to emulate, you look at Shuhei Yoshida, formerly of PlayStation. I'd tell her to go and spend a day with Shuhei, go to spend a day with Peter Moore, formerly of Xbox, or Phil Harrison. Go spend a day if you can with some of the guys from Nintendo, of course, also Peter Moore, Sega. Go spend a day with the guys from Nintendo, find Reggie Fils-Aimé, spend a day with him, go talk to those leaders about the success and how, where they failed in the business. Learn from them. Don't try and make it up on your own. Get the data. It's all out there. I'm sure Reggie Fils-Aimé, there's a recently departed executive from Nintendo who might be very interested for her to talk to, right? That would be my advice. Go talk to all of those people. So he's saying, if you really want to do the right thing, if you want to lead this business the right way, go talk to people who've been in your shoes. Go develop an understanding and a passion for this. Don't fucking take the Matt Booty, who can't get State of Decay 3 out the fucking oven in under 48 years. Promote him and say, oh, you got this, bro. Dude, I fucking worked with Instacart. I know all about apps and millennial shopping trends. Like, we don't need that. We don't need you to take the fucking guy who's botched the Xbox first party lineup for a decade and say, oh, you go and run the video game shit, and I'll go be the figurehead who learns. I don't know, who definitely doesn't fuck this brand up with AI. It just seems, I don't know, a little concerning, right? When you put it into context like that, when you read Seamus's perspective, it's like, man, you certainly raised some good points. And that's why I'm saying, it's like, listen, I don't think because of where she comes from or because she's not a gamer that she can't do the job. I just think if you look at all the information, who left, who's here, who got put where people come from, the timing of it all, where Xbox is at, what Xbox looked like 6 months ago, kind of what got all the things that got us to where we are today. It just looks like it's time to suffocate Xbox or something, and then just be a Call of Duty publisher in the background while, like fucking Xbox dies a miserable, slow, torturous death or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into the last part of this, because I am starting to lose a little bit of my steam, and I don't want to, do this whole topic any less of justice than I already have. So I want to be careful about this part, because what we're going to wrap up with here is yesterday or Tuesday or whatever, Windows Central's own Jez Corden put up a very brief but very good little interview that he managed to squeeze in with Asha Sharma. And he asked some really great questions, and then he kind of kicks himself later in the interview, like, oh, I wanted to ask her about Game Pass. I want to ask her about this and that. It's like, bro, you probably had like 15 minutes with this girl. Great job getting what you did get, honestly, because you were able to really represent and speak for a lot of us and ask questions we were all dying to know. So he did a great job with this, and I highly, highly recommend go to windowscentral.com and read this yourself, or inevitably he's going to talk about all this on the Xbox 2 podcast that he hosts with Randall Thor. So maybe go listen to that show. But yeah, Jez Corden he's an absolute, I know he's divisive for some people because of the way he talks online. I love Jez Corden. I think he's a little fucking gem, and I appreciate so much his hard work here. So I'm going to try to not cover everything too comprehensively because I don't want to like just steal his fucking work. I want, you to have some reason to go read this yourself and support Windows Central, a great website. But yeah, so Jez Corden has this brief little interview with Asha. And I kind of broke it down, and they break it down a little bit as well. And I kind of broke it down to these different topics. So on the subject matter of this, quote, like return to Xbox and this commitment to Xbox hardware, he asks her about that. He talks about, hey, in your opening letter, you talk about this return to Xbox. What exactly does that mean? Where are we with that? And she talks, the console hardware has been in constant decline. Where are we with that? And what she says is, for me, the spirit of this, quote, return to Xbox is about returning to the spirit that the team was founded on. Sharma says it's that spirit of surprise. It's that spirit of building something nobody else is willing to try. I've heard renegade, rebellion, and fun used. That's what I was thinking about when I wrote that. When you wrote that, let's be honest, I don't know if you wrote that, but PR probably wrote that. That announcement was fucking parsed and vetted through PR a million times which way. Like I don't know that those are your words, Asha, but whatever. But yeah, anyway, so she goes off vibes. She says, yeah, people hate Xbox. I'm gonna go back to being this fun, renegade, rebellious brand that's cool and alternative. Like, okay, whatever, So it's nothing. It's a hollow, empty, nothing sandwich. She got us all hyped up a few days ago and says we're returning to Xbox, and we're like, oh my god, are we going back to console exclusives? No, she's just vibe promising to get you to like her and get you on board with what she's saying right now. Sharma acknowledges the investment Xbox fans currently have poured into the ecosystem over 25 years. And seemed, keen to emphasize her commitment to console hardware. She says, I think that our core Xbox fans and players have invested up to 25 years of themselves into these universes in our console. I want to make sure everybody knows that I'm committed to Xbox, starting with the console. Quote, like highlight, underline, starting with the console. We're going to keep meeting players where they are. The world continues to evolve and change. We're going to make sure Xbox is a great place for developers and players, and we want to invest in reducing the artificial divide between different types of devices that they want to use with us. Okay, underline that as well. I think that this is going to mean a lot more investment in breaking down the barriers and helping developers build once they show up across different hardware experiences. For me, I believe Xbox starts with its fans and will grow from there. That's why I wanted to signal as the return to Xbox. So this is really important. She says she wants to fix Xbox and grow Xbox by starting with the fans and growing from there. So this is how Asha doesn't know a goddamn thing about video games, because a reoccurring issue or topic of discussion among the upper echelon of leadership in the games industry, whether it's PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox, is that what we've really come to learn is that there are, it was someone, I want to say it was like Sean Layden or someone formerly of PlayStation. I believe it was Sean Layden who was talking about this really aptly. And he was saying, what we've really learned over the past 20 years is that you can't grow the console market, or if you can, no one's successfully done it. Xbox hasn't done it. PlayStation hasn't done it. Because what they found is there's roughly 200 million people in this world who are DTF when it comes to video game consoles. And it kind of plays out. In fact, the Xbox 360 PS3 generation is the best generation to really exemplify this, because PlayStation 3 actually ended up at the end of the day outselling the Xbox by just a little bit that generation. But both of those consoles petered out around like 85, 90 million units sold. When you add that up, you're just around the 200 million units sold mark. So that is like the most competitive it ever was about almost 100 million for Xbox, almost 100 million for PlayStation, roughly 200 million consoles sold. Then you go to the PS4 generation. we don't have 100% firm numbers, but we have like 95% accurate numbers. And the general consensus is the PlayStation 4 is somewhere in the 120 to 130 million units sold. And the Xbox One family of consoles is somewhere in the 50 to 60 million, probably like 50, 55 million units sold. Again, when you add those numbers up, even though PlayStation 8 Xbox is lunch, it's kind of the same numbers. It's kind of where we were in the Xbox 360 versus PS3 generation. It's just the split of the pie is different. PlayStation took a lot of Xbox players, but they didn't necessarily gain new players. And that's kind of what we're seeing now. I mean, the rumor is that, and the suggestions, the sales trajectory kind of implies that PlayStation 5 has the potential in the long term to outsell the PS4. So you imagine, let's say PS5 at the end of the day sells 150 million units in its lifetime. Well, the Xbox Series consoles are on track to sell 30, 35, 40 million units or something. Like, it's getting more abysmal than the Xbox One generation. Well, when you add those numbers up, what you see is there aren't new gamers entering the space. There's just the same fucking pie, and PlayStation is eating more of that pie. And so this is a huge departure, a huge non sequitur. Well, it's not non sequitur. This is a huge tangent to kind of help bolster this argument, which is that, Asha, who, again, she's not really saying anything. She's just saying PR platitudes to get vibes out there, because everyone in the world operates on vibes. The reason why you can be Chris Brown and physically abuse Rihanna and then still be a loved, celebrated artist and celebrity is because people don't care about actions. People care about vibes. So if you make someone feel good, if you write a catchy song, if you get a touchdown, if you say "Make America Great Again," and you make people feel good about you make people feel warm and fuzzy inside, they can kind of look the other way while you rape children, because it's all about vibes. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. I'm not saying Asha is a good person or a bad person. I'm not saying she's a liar or she's the prophet of Xbox. I'm not saying any of those things. What I'm saying is we don't fucking know a goddamn thing about this woman. She is a person who's been tasked with a job. She's a corporate pawn, and she will either do some good things or some bad things. Chances are a little of both. But she will either be a good thing or a bad thing for Xbox at the end of the day, and that is entirely to be determined. But what I can say definitively is we already know she doesn't know a goddamn thing about the video games industry, because she's talking about starting with the Xbox fans, the 30, 40 million people that exist left, right? Although, honestly, I'd argue at this point, maybe your Xbox hardcore base is maybe like 20 million, 25 million, with just how much they've been begging people to give up on Xbox. So let's say 25 million people are left in the Xbox core. You start with them and you grow from there. Great. There's the vibe talk again. She's making me feel good. I feel heard. I feel seen. I feel like she's identifying my concerns as an Xbox gamer and calming my fears. So I feel or quelling my fears. And I want to feel great about that. But when I start to use my brain power a little bit, I'm like, wait a minute. How are you going to grow Xbox? You got to take from PlayStation, but you can't grow. The only one that grows or shrinks or grows or kind of plays its own game is Nintendo. Because PlayStation can sell 1 million units of a PS3, 1 million units of a PS4, 1 million units of a PS5. And in contrast, Nintendo will be like, 14 million Wii U's, 198 million Switches, 30 million GameCubes, 140 million Wii's. It's like, because Nintendo is just fucking Nintendo. They're just doing Nintendo shit all the time. So they're kind of the anomaly. But we have Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series. We have PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4, 5. We can look at the past 25, 30 years of these consoles and see that there's roughly 200 million console gamers. Some of them go to PC and then you get some new blood. Some of them die and then some babies or children grow up to be gamers, whatever. But it always kind of just evens out. Forget about the PC gamers, forget about the Nintendo anomalies. The Xbox versus PlayStation market is just always this fucking roughly 200 million players, and it doesn't change. And you can't grow that number. What you can do is compete with PlayStation and try to take from them. Good fucking luck at this point. People are so invested into their ecosystem. Or you can do what Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were trying to do, and you can pivot, flip the fucking table, and say, fuck it, we're going to go after the PC market or something. I don't know. We're going to go after people in India and China with subscription cloud gaming services because I don't fucking know how to eat PlayStation's lunch at this point. And that's where they were. But Asha, you're just throwing out vibe speak to make me like you. And I'm starting to think maybe you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But the return to Xbox sounds great, man. It makes me feel so fucking warm and fuzzy inside. But I don't believe you, Dave, you know? All right, let's continue on. So there's tons of speculation about what kind of moves Asha might make. Xbox notoriously ditched any form of exclusivity of games, shifting units onto PlayStation, paying a little mind to criticism that it reduces the need to actually buy an Xbox. Sharma told Jez Corden that nothing is off the table when it comes to revising Xbox's strategy. So again, that's a great thing to hear. But finalizing the strategy will take time and data parsing, which is reasonable. She goes, right now, I need to learn candidly about the why of these decisions and what we're optimizing for and for what the data says about the Xbox strategy today. That's the honest answer. I'm looking at lifetime value, not just what happened in a previous moment or in the short-term efficiencies and things like that. The plan is the plan until it's not the plan. And that is a quote that people keep pulling. You probably keep seeing it in YouTube videos and on social media. The plan is the plan until it's not the plan. This is a marked shift in communication from what Phil and Sarah were talking about, right? Because Phil and Sarah were, this is an Xbox. Oh, that dump you took in the toilet last night that you stared at for 20 minutes before you had the courage to flush it because you were too proud of your shit to get rid of it. That's an Xbox. You know, like that, like we're shifting away from that kind of speak. And now we're talking about like, well, hey, yeah, we got some things we're doing. It's not really working. So what we got to do is we got to look at it and say, what about this is good and what about this is bad? What can we adjust and what needs to be abandoned altogether? Once we figure that out, we're going to adjust. So the plan is the plan. Today we are Xbox Anywhere. This is an Xbox, but maybe tomorrow the plan changes. I don't know yet. We got to parse through the data. We got to look at what we're doing and why we're doing it. And then the plan can change. But until then, the plan is the plan until it's not the plan. Hey, again, this is like really good speak. And like, I want to give Asha credit where credit's due, right? Like, cause like, I love you, Phil. I love you so much, but you're hard to listen to because it's just like, you're always just saying a whole lot of nonsense. You remember like back in the day, I used to always be goofing on Phil because he'd be like, when I think about gamers and the role of the video game, and we want to put gamers at the center of the living room. And I think about gamers and I think about the Xbox console and the role it plays and the way the players interact with the console, online connectivity. It's like, dude, what are you saying? You know? But this is actually like really succinct, really cut and clear, and really cuts through the core. Like, listen, I don't know how much of this is PR training, but Asha's a really great communicator. I'll say that about her off first blush. She's saying exactly what I want to hear. And I totally get it. Like, it all makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. Some things might stick around. Some things might change. You got to figure out why and go on from there. I totally respect it. Thank you for talking to me like an adult. Okay, fair enough. Go on. So Sharma describes how her and Matt Booty are currently going on through a whirlwind learning tour on all of Xbox's gaming teams with studio and org visits penned from Minecraft, Bethesda, Activision, and more. Remember, we just went from fucking what's his name, Bobby Kotick being the daddy of Call of Duty to the fucking Instacart AI girl Asha Sharma. Like, this is how big of a deal it is that she's the head of Xbox now. And her quote goes, Xbox players have thousands of dollars invested in money and time as well. It's incredibly important for me to understand that part and protect it. I am committed to returning to Xbox, and that starts with the console. That starts with hardware. You will hear more about that soon. Oh boy, here's hoping. We'll have some announcements coming up. You will see us collectively investing here. We also want to know that there are a lot of players who aren't. We also know that there are a lot of players who are not on console, are on our hardware, and I want to deliver great games for them too. There you go. That's the PlayStation people. I need to learn more about what that can look like, what decisions were made, what we need to do going forward, and I want a little bit more of time and space to do that. Basically, best case scenario, guys, means that like maybe there's like a 6 to 12 month gap between games coming from on Xbox to PlayStation. Think of Indiana Jones, basically. Anyway, Matt Booty chimed in as well, on protecting Xbox's ecosystem and rejecting speculation on Microsoft gunning for its gaming division to devolve into a publisher. All right, so he says, our studio system is fully built around being first party. We're not built to just be a publisher. It's our core. It's at our core partnership with Microsoft platform, being involved in early hardware decisions. All that we've done to get gaming like Gears of War running on great new devices like the Xbox Ally and so on. It's embedded within our structure. We're not backing away from that. We're committed to being a first party games publisher, a partner with our first party platform team. So, I mean, sure, this is, again, and here goes Matt Booty, and now suddenly I don't like the vibes as much with him, the vibe speak, right? Because with him, I'm like, Matt, I don't trust you so much. Sure, yeah, you're not going away from first party, but, like, you're just doubling down on committing to PlayStation. So, like, how long can you get away with being committed to Xbox hardware before someone goes, hey, why are we selling 85% of our games on PlayStation? Why are only, like, 10 to 15% of copies sold happening on Xbox hardware? Like, what are we doing here? You know? So Midnight 2067 writes in and says, hey, with the regime change, I'm very curious about what Asha Sharma means with her return of Xbox comment. Can't imagine that they're going to want to do a 180 and then prioritize on their prioritization of cloud and PC gaming. No, exactly. That's exactly right, Midnight. Is that they can't just 180, and this return to Xbox comment is a little bit of like just, it's not necessarily an empty promise, because I think they genuinely are open to making big changes based on what this data and research parsing, reveals to them. But I just don't see them really coming to any conclusion other than, oh yeah, we make a shit ton of money selling our games on PC and PlayStation. Why would we stop doing that? You know? So that's the thing, is I don't think there's going to be a 180 move. I think, Asha's job is to look and see, is there a way to have it all? Can we have our cake and eat it too? Can we be on PlayStation? Can we be on PC? Can we have cloud gaming? But can we also have Game Pass? Can we also have the Xbox console? Can we make the console profitable, make the Xbox storefront profitable, make money off of PlayStation, make money off PC? Can we have it all? And her job is going to be to parse through it all and figure out, can we? And what I think, and what you probably think as well, is that they're going to learn, no, we fucking can't. We got to make a decision here. You either give up the Microsoft storefront, which is just free fucking money as people buy their goddamn Battle Bucks and Robux from the Xbox storefront, and you get a 30% rip of everything people buy on there. If someone buys Final Fantasy, 30% Microsoft's pocket. If someone buys fucking Resident Evil 7, 30% Microsoft's pocket. It's free fucking money. To own the Xbox storefront is such a great revenue generator, but they are destroying that revenue generation right now by saying, don't buy an Xbox and don't buy your games on Xbox. Go buy a PlayStation, because you can get Indiana Jones and Forza Horizon and Halo over on that platform instead. And so what Microsoft wants to know is, can you do everything? Can we still make money off of Fortnite on the Xbox storefront while also selling Indiana Jones on PlayStation 5? Can you figure that out for us? And that's what she's being tasked with. It's an impossible job, but that's what she's here to do, is to try and figure that out, because people like Satya Nadella have tiny monkey brain and they don't know that stuff. They're bean counters and they're shareholder and investor like monkeys. Their job is to dance for the people with the money and the investments and to make them happy. And so this is just a pressure command to make the impossible happen. And what they're going to learn is, it wasn't Phil Spencer, it wasn't Sarah Bond. You cannot do it all. You have to pick a lane and stick with it. PlayStation doesn't put their games on Xbox because they're more than happy to miss out. You don't think PlayStation isn't aware? Of course, they'd sell millions more copies of Ghost of Tsushima if they put it on the fucking Xbox, because that Xbox players would gladly buy that game. But they'll forego that money so that you have an incentive to buy their console, buy into their ecosystem, and then spend money on the PlayStation storefront. So when you buy your fucking anime weeaboo games, and when you buy your Fortnite bucks on PlayStation, even though Sony doesn't make those goddamn games, they still make 30% revenue off of your purchase on their platform. And that shit is invaluable. But Xbox just butchered their version of that because they put all their fucking games on PlayStation and begged you to get Game Pass. Oh well. Let's see if they can figure it out. But I don't see them figuring this out, because I think it's an insolvable problem. And even though I want them to go back, you want them to go back, we probably all want them to go back, you can't go back. The genie's out of the bottle. It's like, dude, it's like cheating on someone and being like, oh, baby, just let it go. I'll stop cheating. Forgive me. Let's start again. It's like, yeah, some people are stupid enough to stay in a relationship and be like, okay, I'll forgive you. We'll start again. We'll try again. It's like, it doesn't work, dude. There are certain things, it's like, once you do it, it's done. Once you put your fucking Halo game on a PlayStation and tell people stop buying games and subscribe to Game Pass and stop buying Xboxes, just go buy PCs and PlayStations, it's done. You can't you can't go back, man. So, and I think that's what she's here to do, is she's here to reinforce that message so that Microsoft then has the permission and the blessing to go, okay, we're going to sell off Activision, we're going to make some fucking money, we're going to close down Xbox, or we're just going to become a video game publisher. It's all good. Get rid of Game Pass, get rid of the console, whatever. We'll just become a publisher of video games. Cool. Anyway, so we got a couple more topics here from Jez's interview. He says, so this is on the topic is on the preservation of Xbox Game Studios culture and rejecting AI created games. So Asha says, the thing about our products that are taking off is they've built really great communities with audiences. We are the stewards of a lot of communities, and we have been for decades. The thing that makes a community is that you build for that core. What I don't want to do is have any creator at Xbox dilute their focus to chase an emerging community, Sharma explained. Great. More vibe communication. I love it. If we want to invest in a new community, we'll look at how to do that. But it's really important that people stay true to their core when they're building. The thing I've basically saying, hey, let Rare be the Sea of Thieves guy. Let Halo Studios be the Halo guys. Don't force Rare to make a Banjo-Kazooie game because you want it. Don't force Halo to make a Battle Royale because it's popular. Let them do the thing that they do. Let them cater to their community and respect that. Great. Love it. You're saying all the right things. The thing I've learned when building platforms over my career is that there's two kinds of things that can really make a great platform. It's the quality of the product that you deliver for the core user, and it's the integrity of the decision to stand behind it. There's a big community at Xbox, and we'll look at it the right way to serve that community. So, again, she's saying all the right things. I love this girl. If everything she said right now was true and it came to fruition and it was going to go exactly the way she's promising me it's going to go, I say, Asha, you big sexy girl, I love you so much. But right now, I don't believe you, Asha. I can't trust you now. But we'll see. Time will tell. That's the frustrating thing, is right. There's so many quotes to pour through. There's so many exciting bits and things to go over, but nothing's happened yet. Girl hasn't been in the role for more than 5 seconds. She hasn't had the chance to do anything yet. So we're going to have to wait months, and it's going to be really like a year or two before we really truly know how it goes. Maybe more like a year. I'm sure things will happen kind of fast, but it's going to be a while. So we just got to be patient and see how it goes. All right, on the topic of Asha's tenure at Microsoft Core AI, whose mission is to integrate AI features into Azure tools, this is what she says about that. I think that with the new technology, it brings possibilities as a tool. But even more important, especially now, we need to draw lines on what we won't do. That's what I attempted to do when I shared my open letter. She explained, I will not flood our ecosystem with slop. We won't have careless output. We won't have derivative work. I deeply believe in the words that I shared previously there. Matt Booty put to bed rumors that Microsoft is planning to enforce some kind of AI directive on top of Xbox, noting that developers are free to use tools that they want. They're basically saying, hey, when Photoshop came out, people chose to use it. We're not telling people they have to use AI, but if people want to use AI, we're just here to see what they want to do and to support however they want to do it. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually less worried about the mandate for AI in video game studios with Xbox than I think a lot of other people are worried about, because I just don't know that I trust Xbox will be around long enough for that to even really be a problem. I'm more worried about what's going on with the console exclusives, games on PlayStation, the hardware sticking around, that kind of thing. All right, we got two more here, so let's round out, guys. The next topic, will there be room for a smaller, more intrepid and potentially niche creative Xbox studio in the new era? So this is Matt Booty's topic, and he says, the first conversations Asha and I had when we first met to do all of this on her, to her credit, she immediately emphasized supporting our studios and our games. Our ecosystem is built to be a portfolio of everything from small to ongoing franchises, big blockbusters. We built at the core. We're built at our core to build everything from Kiln to Call of Duty, everything from Minecraft to South of Midnight. That's the core that we're set up for. So Matt said that Xbox that Xbox thinks of itself as a federation of studios supporting each other both creatively and technologically, saying, quote, I think that we've got one of the best portfolios out there. I actually agree. And even with the entertainment industry more broadly in terms of that range, we've dedicated to it. And here's why. I believe that almost every big started at something small. Everything big started at something small. We cannot lose the ability to have those places where little sparks can grow into something big. The creative environment let us take bets and creative risks, and it has been part of Xbox's culture. We're committed to our studios, our systems built for that. So they're saying basically we're going to keep having like Kiln and Hi-Fi Rush style games, these smaller things. We're going to have AA style games like South of Midnight. We're going to have AAA games like Starfield. We're going to have live service games like Sea of Thieves. We're going to do it all because that's what makes Xbox unique and fun. And hey, I agree. I love that about Xbox. Western RPGs, live service games, racing games, first-person shooters, indie style games. Like they got it all. And I love that Xbox is so varied and willing to throw money at all the different types of projects. And hopefully that is something they continue to do. So as long as they have the ability to be around to do that, I will continue to champion that. That's one of the things I've always loved about Xbox, and it's good to hear Matt Booty kind of stand behind that kind of thing. Also, Matt Booty, while you're here, I'm just going to ask you, where the hell is State of Decay 3? Oh, you don't know yet? Oh, cute. Convenient. Very convenient. All right, guys, here's our last topic from this Windows Central, this excellent interview from Jez Corden, where Asha Sharma discusses what she would say to Xbox fans who have worries or concerns about the changes as they bid farewell to Phil Spencer, who inherited a very different Xbox back in 2014. Phil Spencer is a remarkable human and a remarkable leader, and I think that when he took over in 2014, he changed the culture of Xbox to focus on player-driven and creator-driven decisions. I intend to honor and uphold that. Sharma said her current goal is proof over promise. Again, this girl knows how to talk. She says things I like to hear. She says, quote, we know that the business has gone through some challenges. I'm going to use my expertise in the leaders that have deep game depths around the table to help us grow the business and to make sure that we have an incredible next 25 years. I will listen, I will learn, I will communicate with what we're seeing and what we're doing. I think from here, the work is proof over promise. Matt and I are in it every hour, every day of every night. I'm fully in this thing. The team has brought it back before, and I'm here to help us do it again. So basically acknowledging Xbox is kind of in the shitter, and I am fully committed to helping pull it right out, clean it off, put it back on a shelf, and pretend it never fell in the toilet in the first place. So great. I love the way this girl talks, man. If she's half the person in reality that she is on paper, I'm all for it. Asha, you're my fucking, Andrasia from Starfield. Step aside. I got a new fucking video game crush. I don't know what to say, but I just don't know that I can trust this girl. And that's fine. As she says here, proof over promise, right? So she's saying, I know I'm saying a lot. I know I'm promising a lot. I know it's a lot. There's a lot riding on, me stepping into this role and what you guys expect from me. So give me some time. Let me go through the data. Let me talk with my people. Let me meet my teams. Let me learn my job. And I think we'll prove to you over time that we're here to do the right thing. Whether we succeed or not, we are here to identify the problems, fix them, and get Xbox back on track. And that's all you can ask for a leader. So I'm going to give her a fair shake. I'm gonna sit by, because here's the thing. This is like the Pascal's wager of Xbox fandom, right? Pascal's wager, the idea that even if you don't believe in God, you should just believe in God anyway, because what have you got to lose? If you believe in God and you die and God's real, you go to heaven. If you don't believe in God and you die and God's real, you go to hell. So it's like, doesn't it just stand to serve you? There's no if you believe in God and God's this, you'll go to hell. So it's like, just do the simple thing. Just go and believe in God, because it is the best way to increase your chances of going to heaven if it is indeed real, right? And that's kind of how I feel about this. Xbox is fucked. I'm at this point like video game agnostic, but Xbox is fucked no matter what. So I listen. Is it likely that Asha is going to turn things around and make America great again? Probably not. But listen, I'm gonna go ahead and give her a try and give her the benefit of the doubt and stand by and kind of cheer her and the team on and hope that they do the right thing. Because it's either that or Xbox fucking dies and we lose it all together. So I'm just gonna Pascal's wager, just fucking jump on the Asha team, the bandwagon, and hope that this girl's got the best interests of the brand at heart and that she's really here to do the right thing. But if Seamus Blackley's suspicions are correct and she is here to just kind of quietly assassinate Xbox, wouldn't be too surprised. But oh well, the brand was on a downward trajectory anyway, so can't say that I'm too surprised. I guess would be the best way to put it. So guys, I'm fucking pooped. I need to take a little vocal break and go get some water before we wrap up the show. But that is, I know there's something I'm missing. I know as soon as the show goes live, I'm like, fuck, I forgot to talk about that, But one guy without anyone to bounce off of, just me talking to a mic, trying to go off all this for 2 hours now straight. That is my kind of overall stem to stern wrap up of what all is happening right now with this leadership change at Microsoft. It's nerve-wracking, it's exciting, it's concerning, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of emotions, some good, some bad. And I'll just say this, man. I know I come off as a negative person a lot of the time. I'm a very pessimistic person. I'm a very rational person, or what I believe to be rational and realistic. But I understand it reads as pessimistic and negative. So let me say this. I don't believe strongly that Xbox has a promising future. I really don't. I hope I'm wrong and that Xbox has just the best future and that the best days of Xbox are ahead of us. But I do think that something had to change. And as much as I've appreciated Phil over the years, I don't think he was what the brand needed anymore. And even though I think the real serious problems with Xbox probably come up from higher above Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer and are probably more of a CEO of Microsoft kind of level issue, I still think that moving away from Phil Spencer, moving on to something new, getting some fresh blood in there and really shaking things up is kind of the best thing you can do at this point. Because I think letting Satya Nadella and the higher ups at Microsoft continue to like behind the scenes master control Xbox's brand and take control away from Sarah and Phil and let Sarah and Phil just kind of puppet around like these half-baked ideas that they don't really believe in. I think that was such a lose-lose scenario for everyone. So at the very least, just having someone different in charge who is here to do something different, shake things up, approach it differently, it's better than what we just had. And I am just going to remain cautiously optimistic that good things may happen for Xbox and its fans in the months and year to come. So I very much look forward to seeing what happens next. I also feel very confident that this podcast is about to get very interesting and exciting again, because we're going to have new news left and right, crazy things happening, and it's going to be exciting. So I'm trying to remain optimistic. I'm very curious to know how you guys feel about things. Let me know what I left out. Let me know where I dropped the ball on this. It's a lot to cover. I know I'm missing something, but I'm very curious to know how you guys are feeling now. Now that it's been a week, now that we've sat with it, we've gotten so much news. Let me know where y'all's heads are at. I very much, as always, value your input and everything. So, all right, I'm going to take a quick water break. Come back. We'll talk about some wrap up news stories, the games I've been playing. I honestly, I might just knock out I might just skip the news, because really there's not like news. I mean, like there's like a funny thing about the Resident Evil guy saying that he thinks people who spoil the game should die 1,000 deaths, which is hilarious. The developer that made Simpsons Hit and Run is back from the dead, Radical Entertainment. So that's like a whole thing people are freaking out about. The Circana numbers are out. PlayStation 5 outsold Switch 2. Black Ops 7 is actually selling. It's holding up pretty well sales wise, but it's not doing great. It was the best selling game for the month of January in the US, which is good. Minecraft is still on the list. GTA 5 is still on the list. Forza Horizon 5 is still on the list. So Xbox is doing great. They have lots of great games selling great numbers, and it's a good time to be Xbox if you're a video game publisher and nothing else. But Anyway, that's yeah. We'll just kind of skip through that because I think it's time to take a break, come back, talk about what we've been playing, and wrap up the podcast. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, and we're back. Let's hop into the games I've been playing this week. But before I can tell you about the games I'm playing this week, let me first tell you about what I've been eating, because as you know, when you get a new CEO, you get a special hankering in your tummy and you just got to satisfy it. And there's only one place a man can really satisfy a hankering in his tummy, and that's at Cody's Original Roadhouse. So, all right, context. On Saturday, thank God, baseball's back. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Holy shit. So Saturday, one of the many, many things I love about Florida, spring training baseball. So we drove almost 3 hours to Port Charlotte, Florida, where the Tampa Bay Rays have their spring training field. And it's I can't believe I've been here for 7 years and I haven't been yet. So it's been a must-do thing for me while I'm in Florida. And so we finally did it. We made the trek down. We visited the spring training field of my boys, the Tampa Bay Rays. And we went and saw games. Nice. It was hot as shit out. Got sunburned on my knees. Good to see the boys out playing. Got some ice cold lemonade. It was good. It was a good time. Really good time. But afterwards, I've always been curious, years and years watching the Tampa Bay Rays on TV. Just, what's Port Charlotte like? Oh, they play spring training there. I wonder what that town's like. Because, when you're watching on TV, it's like the background looks kind of nice. I'm like, the palm trees in the water. They must be on the water. It must be a nice part of town. All right, I go to Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte's a shithole. Man, I mean, it's not too far from Sarasota. So, it's like you're not far from nice places and you're not far from the water. But like Port Charlotte, like the town itself, it's kind of a shithole. There's nothing really there. But anyway, I'm so glad we went. We had a great time. But while we were there, after the game, I was like, well, we were thinking about maybe like stopping by near the beach, kind of finding something on the water and getting some dinner. Ended up not going that route. I was like, it's kind of late. Let's just kind of like get dinner somewhere nearby and then go home. And then I look it up and I found, oh shit, they got a Cody's here. So Cody's is part of the Roadhouse genre of restaurants. For those who don't know, there's the most famous version is Texas Roadhouse. Of course, everyone in the U.S. knows Texas Roadhouse. I assume they're prominent on the West Coast. I don't know. But on the East Coast, it's pretty easy to find yourself a Texas Roadhouse. It is a chain restaurant that specializes in steak. It's got kitschy Texas cowboy theming everywhere. Its prices are real affordable. Every time you step in, they greet you with these fucking warm bread rolls with cinnamon butter. They got buckets of peanuts on the table so you can just like munch on peanuts while you wait for your food. And they got really affordable, pretty decent, not great, but not bad steaks. You can get yourself a ribeye and some mac and cheese and asparagus for like under $30. It's a good time. Texas Roadhouse is a real fun chain restaurant. However, one of the many great things about living in Florida is this is like the chain restaurant capital of the fucking world, where nobody's ever had a meal that doesn't have at least 20 trans fats. So there are plenty of Texas Roadhouse adjacent or competitor type restaurants here, most of which I've never heard of. There's one I haven't been to yet called Logan's. But the one we love here that is a Central Florida staple is called Manny's Chop House. It's very much in the same vein. It's one of those places where they got like a paper mat on your table and your server writes their name in crayon on your table when they greet you. And then they give you like fucking 2-for-1 beers and chicken wings and steak and stuff. It's a fucking great way to die. It's so good. But we love Manny's. Most of them in Florida are actually now closed, but there's one not too far from where we live. And we go there pretty regularly, probably say like 4 or 5 times a year at least. But there's one that I've known of but never seen, and it's called Cody's Original Roadhouse. My understanding is that these are prominent in more like parts of like North Florida and stuff. I think these guys are outside in like North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama as well. Don't quote me on that. But Cody's is a chain restaurant of that kind that I've never come in contact with. So I finally found one. It just so happened to be like 5 minutes down the road from where the ballpark was. So I was like, bro, there's nothing that sounds more American than going to see a baseball game than get yourself a fucking Diet Coke and a steak or something and wash it down or something. So that it just sounded like a good idea. So we go to this Cody's Original Roadhouse, and it couldn't be more perfect, because not only are most Cody's closed and out of business at this point, but this one just so happens to be almost the sole appendage of a dead mall. We arrive at this Cody's, and it is a fucking dead mall, like a very dead mall. There's a dead mall in Lakeland, Florida that we sometimes go to just for shits and giggles, and it's like pretty fucking dead. This mall makes that mall look like it's 1985 and the high schoolers are popping off there. Like this mall is dead. Like I did one lap through the mall just to see it because I love exploring like dead malls. To me, it's like it's a good vibe, I guess. I don't know. And we did a lap around it, and I shit you not, like there was like an airsoft store that was open. There was a church that was open. There were 2 out of the 10 food stalls in the food court were open. And then there was like 1 or 2 stores. But other than that, this mall was entirely fucking dead. The only thing really keeping it afloat is that this Cody's Roadhouse is attached to the mall, and that has a pretty good crowd it's pulling in. But even this Cody's, it looks kind of sad. Like you walk in there and compare to like a Texas Roadhouse or Manny's Chop House or Logan's or something, like this place needed some fucking love. It looked like it needed a refurbishment or something. But the crowd was popping. They had a good crowd there. They were busy. The food, everything was happening and going. So we ate there, and man, this restaurant, I wanted to like it so bad. It wasn't bad. Like server was super cool. The wings were awesome. The complimentary bread and salad they gave you, fucking phenomenal. Like we were off to a great start. I was like, this place might be better than Texas Roadhouse. I really like it. But then the steaks hit the table. The steaks sucked. The steaks weren't like, oh, they're just mid. They're just okay. The steaks sucked, dude. They were like under seasoned. They just tasted like fucking blacktop grill. They sucked. They just sucked, dude. But mac and cheese was also weird. It was like weirdly sweet for some reason. But the chicken wings were really awesome. The salad and the bread were awesome. So it was a worthy experience just to finally knock it off the list, check it off the list. Like, okay, I've been to a Cody's Roadhouse. We're good. I can say I did it. And half the food we had was pretty good. So I feel accomplished. I felt like it was absolutely well worth the time and money. I have zero regrets. And it was just something kind of fun about eating this like dilapidated chain steakhouse restaurant that was weirdly busy in the middle of an abandoned mall. So that was a unique experience. So that's it for what I've been eating. I will gladly go to Manny's or Texas Roadhouse over this place 100 times out of 100, but I have zero regrets about giving it a try. So that's it. That's it for what I've been eating. Good old Cody's original Roadhouse. I ordered a sirloin, and they're like, "Oh, we're out of the sirloin." I was like, "Fuck it. Let's pretend I'm on vacation. Give me the porterhouse." And boy, that was a shitty porterhouse. I had to take half of it home and then reheat it, season it, put it in the pan, kind of cook it back up, get it seasoned better. And then I ate it the next morning for breakfast with some eggs, and it was much better. But anyway, that's it for what I've been eating. Now let's move on to what I've been playing. So, all right, so Dispatch. So I finished Dispatch. I love this game. I cannot recommend it enough. I was very addicted to this game, not because it's so fun, but because, it's like a Telltale game. It's like The Wolf Among Us or Tales from the Borderlands or something. It's very story driven. It's like watching a TV show. So you get very hooked on the show. And this game stays incredibly compelling from start to finish. I really, really loved it. It's definitely one of those choose your adventure games because by the end of it, you're like, fuck, I wonder what would have happened if I did this instead of that, if I dated this person instead of that person, if I saved this person instead of that one, if I told this person this instead of that, or if I lied about this instead of telling the truth. And it's fun. It really encourages you to want to go back and play it again. I hope we get a season 2 of Dispatch because it definitely closes in a way where, it's like the story is wrapped up. Like it's nice if we don't get a sequel, like it's good, it's taken care of, but it's also wrapped up in a way where there's a lot more to explore with these characters and their relationships. So they definitely do the perfect job of being like, if it's a one-off, there's a complete story. But if we do a sequel, there's a lot to pull at here. So I think they do a really nice job of that. The ending feels just a little abrupt, but other than that, I really don't have many complaints about this game. I just really, really enjoyed my time with this game. Not only is it one of the best looking, best acted, best written, one of these kinds of like episodic choose your adventure kind of games. But it just also is one of the most unique. The few gameplay mechanics that it does have are just such a novel and unique way that plays so well into what this game's trying to do and say. And I just think this developer just deserves so much credit for a very one-of-a-kind special game, and I highly recommend it. I do hope this comes to Xbox. I'm not holding my breath because there's no point in making games for Xbox, but I played it on Switch too. It's available on PlayStation and PC, and I just highly, highly recommend it. So that's Dispatch. Probably my favorite game I played this year so far, actually. But whatever. We're in late February. There's plenty of games to go. The next thing I've been playing, and listen, man, I keep trying to not talk about it, but it keeps coming up. Battlefield 6, I can't get enough Battlefield 6, and I do have something to say about it this week. So I've been having, every time this game gets updated, I swear it runs worse and worse on my PC. It takes longer to load. It runs like shit. And it's just slow. Like, it's just like, I boot up the game and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like waiting 2 minutes for it to start up basically. And then the game just kind of runs like ass, and there's a lot of texture pop in and things are taking forever to load in. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I feel like this game ran like a dream when I was playing the beta and when I first got it back in October. But it's just like every month the game just runs a little more like shit than it did last month. So I noticed that they were having a free play weekend on Xbox to kind of promote Season 2. And the game was on sale to promote Season 2. So I said, let me give it another try. Now that I got like 100 hours of this game under my belt, let me try it on Xbox one more time. Because even though I played on PC, I do play with controller on PC. So I was like, how different can it really be? Maybe it doesn't feel as bad for me anymore playing it on Xbox. So I downloaded it. I played the free trial for a couple hours on Xbox. And I was like, you know what? The game graphically looks better on my PC because my PC is just, I guess, beefier than my Xbox or something. I don't fucking know. But on Xbox, the game boots up fast. I load into matches faster. There's no texture pop-in. There's no screen tearing. There's no frame drops. There's nothing. It's just a perfect, locked, smooth 60 FPS experience on my Xbox. Runs like a dream. This right here, as I'm going through this phase where I'm like really enjoying Steam and I want to buy a Steam Deck and I'm thinking like, where do I go when Xbox dies? Do I jump to PC gaming? This right here is why I've always been a console gamer, because say what you will about Xbox and there are many, many woes, but it's like, I'm playing Battlefield 6 on PC. I think I'm enjoying it. I think I'm having a good time. And then I boot it up on Xbox and I just have a way superior experience. I download the game. I boot up the game. I play the game, no fucking fuss. It's just optimized for this platform. I love it. I love it so much. So I've been enjoying Battlefield 6 a lot on Xbox because after the trial ended, well, of course, I went and bought it because it was on sale, and then I had some Microsoft points, so I got it for like $35. I'm like, I know I already spent $70 getting this on PC last year, but fuck it, $35 more, and now I can have it on Xbox also. I've already pumped over 100 hours into this game. Clearly, I like it enough to justify this. So now I have Battlefield 6 on PC and on Xbox, and I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 6 on my Xbox. So there we go. I finally am back on Xbox. Thanks to Battlefield 6. And the last game I've been playing is I finally started Resident Evil 4. So that I'm also playing on Xbox. So yes, I'm back on Xbox. I'm playing Battlefield, I'm playing Resident Evil, put the Switch down for a little bit. I'm walking away from the PC for a little bit, although I'm kind of dabbling with some demos on Steam Next Fest right now, but we don't have to get into that right now. But I'm playing Resident Evil 4, the 2023 remake of it, and I don't have too much to say. I'm on like chapter 3, so I'm very early in the game. Listen, I know this is like the quintessential action horror game. Like, you have to play Resident Evil 4. It's like most people's favorite horror game of all time. But right off the bat, I've always kind of had this suspicion about Resident Evil 4 where it's like, I know I'll like this game when I play it, but it can't live up to the hype because it's just been 20 years of my life of people just nonstop talking about how great this game is. There's no way it could ever live up to the hype. So where am I 3 chapters in? The game is cool. I like it. It's fun. The combat's good. The atmosphere is interesting. Whatever Chris Redfield or whatever the fuck his name is just an absolute fucking goof of a character. What's his name? Leon Kennedy. Leon, right? Leon. I always mix up the characters. I think he plays Leon, right? I don't know. He's a fucking goofball of an anime character in this world. He's just such a little brat for some reason. I don't know why people love him so much with his little swooshy hair, but whatever. I'm enjoying the game. It's tonally, atmospherically very cool, and it's very fun to play. I think Resident Evil games are fun. But I think I probably got a couple more hours before this game really gets its hooks in me. So I don't have anything too compelling to say about the game just yet. But I am enjoying what I'm seeing, and I am intrigued to go further. So that is the game I'm like really sinking my teeth into. So usually that kind of game, the game like I'm really playing, that's the kind of game I play like Saturday, Sunday. And then like Monday through Friday, I try not to play games, but if I do, that's usually more like 2 matches of Battlefield here, or like an episode of Dispatch, or like something quick like that. But Resident Evil 4, I plan on really digging into it this upcoming weekend, heaven forbid I get some free time. But yeah, I'm enjoying my gaming time tremendously right now. Dispatch, fucking awesome. Battlefield 6 on Xbox, it's going real good for me. And Resident Evil 4, not too far in, but I like what I see. I know people are excited because we're just, as of the time this podcast goes live, one day away from Resident Evil Requiem. So excited for all you who are excited for that. But guys, that's gonna do it for all of our for what I've been playing. Let's wrap up with the best last final segment of the podcast. A little anemic this week because we read so many comments throughout the show, but we have 2 comments to wrap us up here. You go to youtube.com/Xbox on podcast, drop a comment on the latest episode, say whatever the fuck you want, I don't care, just let me know what you think about the new Xbox leadership changes, and we'll read it on the show. Cargo Runner gets the first of the 2 comments and says, Jesse, I have to disagree with you about High Guard. I don't think it was killed by toxic YouTubers and social media people wanting clicks. They estimate around 1 million people played High Guard, so 1 million people ignored those toxic comments. Those people tried it and just left it as is, and it didn't resonate with them. If it was a good game, then plenty of those people would have stayed and played and would have championed it on social media. If you look at Starfield, it started with a really negative backlash at launch, but plenty of people still played it and liked it and championed it on social media. You were one of those people that championed Starfield. Cargo Runner, this is a really great point, and I don't mean to look over it. It's true. It's true. And I thought about that as I was saying it, the hypocrisy that, yes, it is true that a lot of people did give it a go at first, and so wouldn't it stand to reason that if the game was really good, those people would have stuck around? Yes, but I do think it is hard to ignore that the YouTube and social media commentary surrounding this game, it is hard to think that it didn't have some factor on this. Because, listen, I'm a little torn with my argument as well. But here's why, man. You know how the conventional wisdom is like no press is bad press. You know, if people are talking about you, if there's a conversation about you or whatever, then that's a good thing. You're getting exposure. And I conventionally believe that. But the thing about gaming and the online space is, dude, people are so fucking toxic. And so often people form their opinions purely on what they're told to believe. Like, I just, like, the most recent one I just keep coming back to again and again is Black Ops 7. Like, my coworker who's like, no, Black Ops 7 is trash. That game is shit, dude. I'm like, oh, really? You played it? No. Are you going to play it? No. How do you know it's trash? I heard it's trash, man. It's trash, dude. It's like, oh, what a great argument. You really defended your point there. It's just like that kind of shit where it's like, I don't necessarily believe a game like High Guard was made or broken by the conversation surrounding it, but I don't think the conversation surrounding it necessarily helped it. I think like, I just can't help but feel like I think people like to form a lot of opinions based on what they feel like they're supposed to think and believe. Like, explain this to me. People used to pick up a Windows phone when they went to an AT&T store or whatever in 2012. They'd pick up a Windows phone, they'd dick around with it, and they saw, wow, this is an objectively a better phone in every fucking way than the iPhone. And then they would proceed to buy an iPhone. You can't tell me that there isn't some kind of social pressure or norm or discourse that influences people's decisions with certain things that have a certain level of unanimous consensus surrounding like how you're supposed to feel about a product. I know it's a poor example, but I just love Windows phones, so I always go to it. But I just think it's one of those things like, I don't know, millions of people, 80 million people at one point in time bought an Xbox, and then the internet told you Xbox sucks, and now only like 25, 30 million people have an Xbox. What's that all about? You know, I mean, Xbox has good games, they have a great platform, they have great services, but people are hand over fist choosing to jump ship to PlayStation. What's that about? I do think, you know, obviously Xbox is largely responsible for the predicament they find themselves in, but also, you know, people tell their friends, get PlayStation or you're gay, and nobody wants to be gay, so they buy PlayStation. Cut and clear, man. Anyway, Cargo Runner, I do appreciate your perspective on this because I do think you are, generally speaking, very right, and you bring a very good perspective to that conversation. So I do appreciate your feedback for sure. And Mr. Maug has the other comment this week and says, Starbucks is overrated. I think we talked about Dutch Brothers, right, last week. Starbucks is overrated. There was even a period where I got 10 free drinks, and I still felt like I was getting ripped off since they were only the tiny grande sizes. Also, I don't think you should get a Steam Deck considering you already have a Logitech G Cloud. The Steam Deck is great for smaller and older games, but anything modern and it's chugging. I used to have the OLED model. It was nice for Batman games, but anything new was almost unplayable. And Cargo Runner replied to your comment there and says, I would agree with you. It's pretty late to get the Steam Deck now. If I was Jesse, I would just enjoy the Switch 2 and any missed Switch games for a couple years and then get a Steam Deck 2 when it releases. Yeah, people, I guess, are really adamant that a Steam Deck 2 is on the way. So I guess that is good feedback. But you guys, I'm going to do what I want to do. And you guys telling me not to get a Steam Deck makes me want a Steam Deck even more. But no, this is good feedback, and I do appreciate it. Now, I will push back a little bit. I think the Logitech G Cloud and the Steam Deck have nothing in common. And I don't think having one is a substitute for the other, because streaming Steam games on a Logitech G Cloud is about as fun as, like, I don't know, like, shaving your face with a cheese grater. Like, it kind of just fucking sucks. So I highly discourage people from doing it. Streaming your Xbox or your PlayStation from Logitech G Cloud, really good. Steam, pretty much impossible, pretty much a useless feature. So I don't really agree with you on that the G Cloud is a good replacement device or substitute device in the interim. But I do see your point that it's like, you're this far now, we're probably close to a Steam Deck 2, just wait. So, and if that's the case, if there really is a Steam Deck 2 on the way in the next year or two, then, like, yeah, that's good logic, but I might be impatient and not wait anyway. I'm just letting you know, but I do appreciate the feedback. I think you guys have some really important stuff to consider, but the whole point of being a childless millennial is that I don't want to wait. I want Steam Deck now, because I decided now is the time. But seriously, thank you for that, pointing that out. You guys, I think that's going to do it for our podcast this week. I'm tired. I got to go edit this puppy. So let me go get to that. I genuinely am very curious what you guys have to say and what you think about what all is going on in the world of Xbox. So I look forward to posting this and eagerly awaiting for hopefully some comments. But you guys all take care. Thank you so much for your comments, for your listening and support and everything. Feel encouraged and free to rate the show on podcast services. 5 stars is always highly appreciated. But until next week, yeah, take care of yourselves. Eat some Cody's Steakhouse. Play some Dispatch, whatever you got to do. But be good and power your dreams. Go Rays.